We are getting this sucker
Alright,
started now. Let me get the link here. There's the share link. Let me copy that and close out of there, and I'll put that in the sidebar right quick for you, Kevin, so you can circulate that. Okay, there we go. And I'm running
that
without a
is
script, so please bear with a little bit on this one here. And that should be about long enough that it's actually started. I'm going to, at this point, lock down the Hangout because I can do that with these. There will be points that we will let additional people in, but for now, at least, it's going to actually be by invite only for the time being, though the link is in the description. In any case, for those of you out there, tonight on Cult Night, we are going to be talking about sociopathy and cults of personality. Now, this extends far beyond the likes of Teal Swan, who has her own cult compound, and the likes of Spirit Science, who's actually used his classification as a supposed spiritual leader to actually hold someone essentially captive in an abusive sexual relationship for a period of time. A relationship, incidentally, while he was at the Teal Swan compound, which was covered up by her actual followers. Now, people that exhibit sociopathy have certain traits and behaviors that you can recognize them by. Now, let me just bring up my list here right quick. Okay. There we go. Okay, having an oversized ego, lying and exhibiting manipulative behavior, exhibiting a lack of empathy, showing a lack of remorse or shame, staying eerily calm in scary or dangerous situations, behaving irresponsibly with extreme impulsivity, having few friends, being charming but overly superficial, showing disregard for social norms, and of course 10, living by the pleasure principle. If it feels good and they're able to avoid consequences, they'll do it.
Hang on.
Yeah?
Is this meant to be a cult night? I thought we were gonna do a...
That sounds awfully familiar. Like,
Oh, fuck, you're right. Hang on. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, guys. I fucked up. I'm on the wrong script. This is a shuffle. Let me get rid of that. And yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with you.
Yeah, I'm actually was planning on talking about the whole spirit rapist thing later this week. Yeah, sorry, I fucked up about that. Tonight's topic is supposed to be something else, brass tacks. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, that list looks somewhat similar, doesn't it?
that definitely looks familiar. That definitely looks familiar.
Yeah, this is definitely the document. Now, the thing is, when I first saw this, it was quite some time ago, and I honestly agreed with a good number of the points on it. But we decided that we should probably go over this thing as it's already been kind of aired as weird laundry. Oh, and I got to change the actual font size for the people out there in chat world. Let me do something about that. We're at 14.
That would be useful.
8, 19, 20,
Push the Comic Sans.
27 should do it. Fuck you and your Comic Sans.
Oh, that's
there we
funny.
go.
Oh no, no Comic Sans, please no.
Oh god, guys, look at this in the chat. Somebody's named the Grape Debate.
I wonder who that is.
It's pretty clever.
I like it. Okay. In any case, though, this brass tacks document had apparently been leaked. There's a whole big drama about it that's been going on. And since I got my hands on a copy of it, I thought we should probably discuss it for a little bit. Now, it was pitched as being the whole point of it was because of his Patreon, which now I've been criticizing him in damn near every hangout I've been in with him lately because he's co-opted the name Great Debate Community, which is what we've kind of collectively called ourselves for ages. I mean, nobody owns it. It's just, everyone that comes to have this kind of discussion, we just kind of lumped ourselves under this big umbrella. And it wasn't something that was meant to be a good thing. It was always meant to be kind of like with scorn, the great master debate community, etc. The derp bait community, as Kevin usually calls it. I mean, we have all these different names for it. But even when you go to the first line of this document that's caused all this bullshit shitstorm to blow up, it says, this is simply a guide in which individuals you'll use to discuss the current situation with Steve Mcrae and the GDC, which says to me that this is kind of like Cliff Notes for a planned discussion. And from what was discussed yesterday, apparently it was not meant to be leaked. That was a big fuck up. Hi, Drag. Somebody posted it in error, and then after it was initially out there and people kept asking, it was posted again. Hi, Kevin. And it just led into this huge fucking fiasco. Oops. And the whole point was to just, okay, here are some things that we feel Steve isn't, well, I don't want to say that he's necessarily doing wrong, but certain behaviors and ways that he's handling things that people find objectionable, we'll just say. And since this was just people putting down their initial thoughts, initially in a Google Doc, which then got out there and it was set so that other
Should
people
never
could
have
edit it.
stayed publicly editable. Yeah.
Yeah, and the publicly
Oops.
editable thing, people kept adding things, and then later to try to figure out who did what, they changed it all by color sequence, which is why this thing's such a goddamn eyesore. But yeah, so do you guys want to go through some of the points that are on here?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the reason why the colors look funky like that is that when I had passed it to a certain individual who she shall be nameless, she thought that she was supposed to edit it, as in like fix the spelling and grammar and whatnot. So that's why it looks
Which
like
I
that.
did a little of. That was my main contribution to this because I didn't see it until after Drag had posted the public link. And mostly what I did, aside from a little shit posting at the end, was correct some spelling and grammar.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just thought it was funny that folks did that at one point. But it's interesting that Steve actually doesn't know what I personally put on here. I've come to kind of realize that over the
Well,
course of
it's just you're just trying to convince him that he can't handle running the community and he needs to give it to Maute.
Oy vey, what a load of crap that is.
Or you.
What on earth? I hadn't even heard that one.
Yeah, that was something
Yeah,
that during that drunken rant that was covered.
We'll get to the
Oh, yeah.
drunken rant. Don't worry.
Oh man. Oh yeah. I forgot Pew. Yeah, we've been kind of out of it. Yeah, man. I need to pass you the link where Kevin put all the timestamps. Man, he has.
Oh no, I got that. I got
in
that
the
one.
chat,
Kevin sent that one to me.
Don't worry about that at this point. That's
I've been
irrelevant
talking
at this
to you.
point.
Don't worry.
Actually, I want to just focus on the actual document itself instead of things like links and this and that at this point. Excuse me, I'm choking to death here. Okay. Now, the points that are listed on here. Inconsistent treatment of guests based upon their credentials and affection was what was originally put here. And then we have this weird red note of what the fuck's that supposed to mean. And I'm guessing from what I've seen of Steve, that the person that wrote that was probably talking about that if he considers somebody a friend or if they have a vagina, he tends to treat them very much differently than other participants in his hangouts.
Ooh.
Right. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Fuzzrana. Like, if you talk to, if he brings on, let's say, anyone from the CCP, he's going to treat them like shit. There was one guy in
That's
particular.
sort of expected, but
Yeah,
go on.
that's expected. But if you're going to, do that, if that's your MO, then do it consistently. When Fuzzrana or Ross come on, he does everything in the world to, kiss the tip of their dicks the second they walk in, and then kiss them on the ass when they leave. One example is when, actually a few examples, is when Joe Sansi would call out Fuzz or Hugh for something that's blatantly logically fallacious, and Steve would have to intervene on behalf of them in order to stop Joe. On another occasion, Sam had called out Hugh Ross, Fuzz Rana's inconsistent, his inaccurate depiction of a particular conference concerning, something in molecular biology dealing with abiogenesis, yada yada, and even someone with, a brief knowledge of what was going on in that conference would not have drawn the same conclusion that Fuzz drew. And so, as Sam was beginning to call out, Fuzz's depiction of that, Steve again had to intervene on behalf of Fuzz because, hell, that's his pet, like his pet theist.
Okay, well, let's actually, and I'm actually going to counter myself on one thing in terms of my jab pertaining to female participants. Well, I do think that he occasionally fawns over to them to the point that even I, outside in chat world, get a little bit uncomfortable with it. I do have to say, though, that that's something, because there aren't that many women there have never been that many women in the community, frankly. So a little bit of extra regard to them, I think, is somewhat expected to encourage them to stay in the community. And that I can understand. I just think he takes it a little far. And I always want to scold myself for that particular criticism.
Remember, people, Rachel Oates is taking supplements.
Oh God, the number of times he said that, it was like, dude, why do you keep? That's creepy, man. Stop. No one's flirting with her. Nobody's hitting on her. Just stop.
I see original. That's Logic's woman. Don't fuck with her.
Mm-hmm.
She's taken.
Okay, there we go. Moving on to point number 2. Constant search for approbation from Others simultaneous with an unchecked demand for ego massage. Always searching for approval while wanting his ego massaged. I don't think we need to really get into that one. I think that was pretty basic.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have that going on, but with Steve, like, I mean, should I play that clip from his hangout where he says that he's never made a video criticizing anyone in the community who he likes?
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
leave
that's
that
a
on
lot.
the side for now. That's in the drunken ramble. And a certain degree of that, I almost want to say, well, he was drunk at the time, but yeah, some people get more honest when they're drunk, and who's to say?
Yeah, well, that particular one, because I can't remember exactly who I got these first 10 from because it's late at night. But if it is who I think it is, they were referring to
They used
his
approbation. I think I know
camera.
exactly who it is.
Yeah, I want to say I know exactly who this, but it's
Go ahead.
Steve would always, and this person had to bring this to my attention when there's a conversation and it's something kind of outside of Steve's purview. He would have to like interject and go, oh yeah, I know about this. I'm not so dumb, huh? Yeah, I know this stuff, guys, right? And he does it so often that I guess I just got used to him doing that. But it's his constant search for affirmation that really kind of stuck out. And so if you go back and just watch any random hangout where there are people, it could be me, Hogtie, Sam, Jade, Fiona, and we're talking about something in biology, he would have to prove to everyone that he, knew the different types of speciation or something fucking stupid,
I mean, that's an ego problem, isn't it? This is, effectively.
It all links into the ego.
I get a bit of that myself. I don't want to look like I'm an idiot, and I want to do, show that I've got a value around. But the problem is when you project it, so overtly, then
Broke up a little.
You're effectively you're objectifying yourself now.
Objectifying.
Because instead of now just being the host and allowing your guests to show what they know and explain things, you're now trying to aggrandiate yourself.
You're trying to make yourself the center of attention and make it about you. Is that where you're going? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 I think is almost a minor point. Criticism of others' mistakes in grammar and speech while making similar mistakes. I think we all do that to a degree.
Yeah, he's definitely done that, but I don't really want to bust his balls for that.
Taking the ball and going home at the slightest hint of criticism, or as recent events are, going on a drunken rant about it and changing everything pertaining to the events that actually happen to fit your narrative.
Yeah.
Well, a good example of this is basically almost every thread that has been made on the GDC group, and there's been about a dozen of them now, regarding the definition of atheism and Steve's as this particular kind of agnostic, but not an atheist. He does not like to be disagreed with on that point. We saw this with the MP thing, but there's a couple people that I can think of who he has banned from the group for going after him on that. Now he'll say, no, it wasn't for disagreeing with me, it's because they were trolling. No, they were trolling. That's convenient, right?
Actually, I think you should read 5 after that one.
Yes, refusal to address the concerns of several valued, and may I add longer-term members of what was formerly known as the Great Debate community, including those who have gone to Steve privately. I will remain anonymous, but he has in private messages openly dismissed the feelings of older GDC members. I don't know who wrote that, but I know someone who very well could have come from, but I know it wasn't from her, right? Wink, wink.
Okay. In any case. Now, here's where my pet peeve is. Now, granted, I did not write this one. I didn't write any of the entries in here. I just kind of smiled and nodded at most of them. But this one in particular, conflation of the GDC brand with Steve Mcrae as proprietor and opinion leader. The number of times when he's using the term GDC that he's really kind of making it about him and telling the new people, I created the Great Debate community, which he did in terms of the Google Plus group, but he doesn't differentiate between the pre-existing group and that, and saying that he started this from the ground up when there was a pre-existing community that he simply took the name of.
That was always my biggest criticism of him when talking with him in private.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my personal pet peeve. Sorry.
That's something that, again, he's not mentioning what was actually spoken about in the hangout, and that was one of the first things that I know someone. I want to say actually I had put that forward. Uh, if not asked to find a point, I said, "Well, you keep referring to you and the GDC, and it almost sounds like they're one and the same." And so I asked, like, "Hey, are you and the GDC one and the same?" And so the answer was yes. And then, of course, that was followed up with, I believe, Sam's question with, is it professional or is it a fucking hobby? And everybody that we ask, this is a funny thing to do. Everyone that you talk to who loves Steve and kisses his ass, ask them what they think Steve said, because none of them have gotten it right. And so it's so inconsistent. It's amazing.
It's very
And the
inconsistent.
monologue that was presented in that drunken outburst really that was for me a proverbial nail in the coffin. I actually pulled his access to the corporate account at that point because fuck that shit. And the kicker is that when I offered it to him, I've also offered it to Drag. I've offered it to actually I've technically offered it to Flat Earthers as well as G-Men, and they're like as well, because the whole point of me making the account was to prevent sniping, nothing more. It's not my endorsement to anyone or anything. It was just to make sure that snipers couldn't snipe.
But Steve has brought that up multiple times. Once that I've heard, and a few more that I've heard from other people, holding up the fact that 13 gave him access to that account as some kind of endorsement of his shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Let's see now.
I mean, can I just mention something? Because I posted.
Hang on 1 second. Sam is unable to talk at the moment, but there's a quote in here. Is in terms of the proprietor and opinion leader here. Quote. Sam was right. It's a Soviet shit show, is what I think he meant to put in here. Trial the way he runs things. Granted, this was a first draft, so I don't know how he was going to eventually plan on wording that, so it wouldn't be kind of incendiary. But sorry, go ahead, Cliff.
I do think Soviet show trial is the right phrasing for that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the phrase. So.
I mean, I confronted him with the the appropriation thing. And he said that he didn't create the Great Debate. His quote, it was, "I created a more organized group on G+, which everyone was on board with for years, until the group started to undermine what we." Notice he turns it into a we thing as opposed to a him thing.
I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm sorry. Who asked for access to the show? Kevin? Was that you that put that up? I didn't see.
Where?
I thought I just saw somebody saying that somebody was requesting a link.
Not that I can.
I just wanted to get the stream so I could see the comments.
Never mind. Okay, I think I put it on the sidebar.
Yeah.
You should also be able to see them on my thing if you click on it. In theory, I don't know if you get to see my full thing on the bottom. Sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway,
We can see it.
Paying attention, my bad.
All right, hold on, Jack. Keep going.
I just wanted to mention that the very first time I even heard that this group was going to be called the Great Debate Community, I either went to him in person or I spoke up in public or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy about it.
No, me neither.
Neither was I. And his response at the time was not satisfactory, but I kind of just let it go.
Yeah. Anyway, he said, "I'm sorry some people are not happy that I took something and tried to make it better, and most people on YouTube are out for some kind of personal gain. I'm sorry you don't see the good that I've been trying to do, and I'm just trying to be I'm just going to be focused on providing continual content to help not just my channel but all channels on the GDC. Those who wish to be a part of it can be. Those who do not, I'm sure, can find other groups. I wish them well, and I'm parting ways with them with a clean conscience." But there's an amusing part about it, whereas he says that,
one moment, Spackle. This is live. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. He said effectively he's trying to say that, well, he created this thing because he wanted to make it better. Which, well, he didn't. There was no consensus on this. It's like, hey guys, I want to look at doing this. You know, I didn't get asked. Did anybody else get asked? Did anybody else get asked about whether he should call it the Great Debate Community? You know, this is appropriation, plain and simple.
And quick response to chat. Absolutely, Tyler. It was satire referring to it as the Great Debate.
Yes.
The problem is I can't remember if okay, so I went to Steve privately for like the past year or something. First time was over. I think we had an actual like phone conversation or something, and I asked him his great debate community.
Repeat that last.
You're breaking
What?
up a little bit.
Oh, okay. So I actually had a phone conversation with Steve, and I asked him if the Great Debate Community is the same as the Great Debate Community as a whole or a separate entity, and he said that it was a separate entity.
Oh,
And yet he complains them all the damn time.
yeah.
And then in another conversation, he said it's the Great Debate Community as a whole, but better, like a better version of it.
Incidentally,
Which means what?
I have too
What's
many
that
windows
actually
open. Hang on one second. I'm sorry. I have way too many windows open right now, so I can't actually respond directly to people in the chat. So I'm going to have to do it through this. Tyler, we're well aware that the term "great debate's been around for a long fucking time, but it was when we refer to when it was, so to speak, founded. We're talking about on YouTube when we officially started referring to it instead of just quote unquote the great debate, but that sneer, referring to ourselves as a community, and that was started with AOD around about 2013. But we're well aware that the term the great debate and everything associated with it is long precedes any of even YouTube's existence. Sorry.
Yes, we are very well aware of this.
Yeah.
It's just it's context sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, like I say, he said in that comment today, under his drunken rant, you know, that people on G Plus, they were on board with it for years. It's like, it's only been 2 years. It's not really been years, as in, you know, many years. It's been just over a year. You know, the thing, I forgot what the date was now, but it was 2016. He
September.
started.
Yeah. September 6th, 2016.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's not years.
Not long.
But yeah, when we were making those references, we were just talking to when the full term was coined, not the to have part of it or what have you. That's all. And I know it doesn't really matter, and I'm sure other people said it beforehand at some point or another. It's just a matter of when it started to stick. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
which would have been 2013, like around shortly after Hangouts was launched, when we kind of took on its current form because we had an easy integrated way to talk to each other and stream Hangouts.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I mean, just to give you an example of how long this has been going, I haven't been around as long as many other people, and yet I've got a video on my YouTube channel which is 6 months before Steve even turned up, before he even created his YouTube channel, and in it I'm making a little satirical joke about a plushy goat, because
oh
I
my
say,
god, the goat videos.
Yeah, in the great debate, some people, you say things you don't mean. There's always someone trying to get your goat, and I thought, if I owned a goat, no one could get my goat. It was a satirical joke. I'm making a reference to something like that way before he even turned up. And yet he
regardless,
appropriate that term for his own.
And I know
Can we get back on track a little?
Oh,
Rails.
sorry.
I was going to ask if anyone wanted to volunteer to read the next one, which I really don't agree with, quite honestly.
What point are we on?
Okay, hold on. I will read it because I actually wrote part of it. And scroll down a little bit so I can
give me
see
1 second,
just
sorry.
a little bit.
Scroll down a little bit. I thought it was right at the top of the screen.
And then,
Oh, you mean I didn't write all this?
This one here.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, what a surprise! Drag didn't write all this.
Number 7.
Well,
Okay.
Sam then.
Sorry.
Hold on. It is blurry for me, actually. Hold on. Oh, wait. I can read it through
Yeah, watch
the
it in the
screen.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I hate to repeat it, but he's the bizarro, true empiricism. He appeals to a consensus, but never cited papers or even anyone outside of Ozzy or Alex. I assume Alex means Alex Malpez. Don't know what to do with this one. And then I wrote, not sure if all of us feel comfortable comparing Steve to true empiricism. True empiricism is on a whole different level. So I actually criticized it.
Yeah, and on your criticism, I definitely agree with that critique. However, my initial comparisons to him, which a lot of people at the time gave me flack about, was comparisons to G-Man because of how much time he spent with self-promotion and really trying to make himself out like he was the fucking savior of the former great debate community. That self-aggrandizement and that focus.
I think it's the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's a bit of a blend.
Yeah.
In the sense that there's there's never going to be a perfect analog, but
true.
The thing is though, is you look at it and they're constantly bragging about how smart they are, but they don't really offer too much substance. When they make claims on their own, they don't really make great claims, and they're constantly willing to name drop authorities that they agree with, but they don't argue the points.
And this leads us to point 8, which is what happens when you try to criticize him.
Yeah.
This is drama. What's going on right here? We're trolls. We're just causing drama. That's all it is. Just drama.
Yeah.
Now, when the drama
not like there's any substantive criticism here or anything.
When the drama is being generated by Steve, that's fine. That's cool. He's the king. He can do that. But anyone else, nope, drama.
I think he could also point out that the dismissal of criticism as drama is very much in the true empiricism mindset.
Yeah.
That's something you hear from him a lot. That's true.
Yeah, G-Man, true empiricism, both of them.
And also that let's not forget that what we're talking about today and this document thing, this is something from approximately 2 months ago. And the only reason why it's come out this week is because Steve decided to have a drunken rant about it.
Well,
right.
So who brought up this drama?
Actually, hang on for a moment, because I want to tag something onto that right quick. Because as I said, I didn't actually add anything to this, but somewhat akin to the criticisms pertaining to Ronnie and what have you. Yeah, his complete inability to let things go, I found frustrating. Let me see if I can resync my chat here.
But who brought up the drama for this week?
I've lost my chat window. Damn it! He did.
Yeah, it did. Who brought up the drama this week? It was Steve. So he's going to say, oh, this is just old drama. They brought up drama. He was the one that brought up the old drama.
And that's kind of the odd thing that's why we call him Bizarre Ronnie, because he has his own version of history. It's like no one was talking about this, but he decided for whatever reason that, getting drunk on a Monday night's a cool idea, and, begging people to come talk to him is being yelled at his roommate because he's being fucking loud and belligerent at night is a great idea. And so within this great idea, dredge up the old fucking drama that he claims to not like and that claims to hate, and reignite all of this. And so even better when me and Sam go, well, you know what? It's best that we just chalk this up to him being drunk, whatever, and drop it. Let's bury the hatchet. No, he doesn't want to do that. So here we fucking are.
And
more to the point here, and I need to make a finer point, is that he should have come to us with this if he was really burning his ass for that long, because it was literally to the point where the one time that Steve has come up in an offline conversation between me and Drag, we've been like, oh, let's not go there. We've specifically avoided it. We've specifically avoided anything regarding the GDC. We've kept up our end of the bargain on this in terms of if the bargain is reducing drama. I mean, motherfucker, based
upon just what the opening line of this was meant to be essentially an intervention to offer him some critiques that might help in the future. Am I right in that?
Yes, that was the entire intention. I mean, that was at least so. So I should correct that. That was the intention that I had with it when Drag shared the document with me, and subsequent conversations I've had with Drag, he's verified that.
Why
Right.
did the idea of you remember that atheism plus? Why is this GDC plus? Is that what it's created?
There's enough meaningful
Fair
differences.
point.
I don't think it's a helpful comparison, honestly.
It's basically it's a schism. Atheism Plus was a schism,
A
and
pointless, stupid one at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, there's a interesting thing that's happening, especially when Steve is I guess trying to create this narrative that he has, is that he's not actually mentioning what we took or did not take from that document and what we personally brought to him. And I think that's very, very telling that his own version of what happened got distilled down into, well, Sam and Drag's only issue, and I'm quoting him directly, was that I have a Patreon. When, interestingly enough, I have a Patreon, and I donated to Steve's Patreon and promoted his. So he knows that's an absolute lie. At least that angle is an absolute lie. That is not what I spoke to him about in the hangout. I spoke to him about his fucking conspiracy theory and his mischaracterization against MP, and he fucking knows that. And so I don't see why he thinks that lying to other people now is going to help him.
Okay.
Well, one of the other things he keeps saying about how he and MP are cool and, they're pals or friends or something
That's
like
an
that.
absolute fucking lie. I talked to MP tonight. MP does not have any hostility towards him, but they are not fucking friends. That you don't do what Steve did as a friend. And
No
if they
kidding.
were still as cool as Steve wants to believe, MP would still be in the GDC now, which, oops, if you go and check the roster, MP's not in there.
Okay, I'm going to move on to number 9 right quick. Quote, quote, the great debate community is a somewhat hijacked term. Much confusion in the past blending of past usage and current group usage name.
Group name usage.
I mean, and this is something that it frustrates me to no end, because now when I say something, when I make a reference to the great debate community, I feel almost like I'm promoting his damn G plus group when that's not what I'm talking about.
Do you really think he didn't know that that's exactly what he was doing?
Oh, when
That's
I
exactly why I
criticized
did
him
it.
about it, he said, "You're just upset that I thought of it first." And I'm like, no. It's like an unwritten rule. You don't do that, you tool.
Yeah, that's exactly what he thinks. That is accurate.
Okay, so that one I had to play with. But 10, I'm going to let somebody else field. Let me just scroll here a little bit.
I just think that I need to address something on exactly the point you just brought up there.
Go for it.
Nathan, which is, he is ascribing what you think, what you believe. And if you think about it, he was doing this in his drunken rant as well. This is what Sam and Drag are doing. He's decided for them what their motivations were.
Fair criticism.
Yeah, I mean that's something that CCP members do, and we've criticized them for that.
It's hard not to make that comparison, and I don't like that, but it's true.
Hey, actually, can I bring something up real quick that I totally even forgot to tell Kevin about?
What?
So, Kevin, remember the night I went to my high school and spoke there, and then went and had a drink with some old colleagues?
Hang on.
Well,
Sam, I'm muting you for a second.
Yeah.
Crinkle, crinkle.
Well, I was having drinks with my old colleagues that I hadn't seen in years. And I was telling them, I met a guy, and we're in a long-term relationship and everything. And they asked me, hey, where did you meet him? And I said, this little corner of the YouTube community. We call it the Great Debate Community, blah, blah, blah. One of them had actually heard of us and knew of us.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
and I totally forgot to tell Kevin this, because I had some alcohol when I was talking to my colleagues, so I probably have forgotten, 50% of the conversation. But she said she had actually seen, she's seen our Rock videos, but she's also seen, Dragnot's and Fiona's videos.
Now, the interesting thing is, in that
I'm
hangout...
not even joking.
Hang on, though,
And
Jackie, I got to feed off this for 1 second. Sorry,
Wait,
I really need to break in for 1 second.
Wait. I got to be me for a second. female and cute? Question mark.
Oh, damn it, Sam.
Fuck off.
Actually, yes.
We'll speak
and
more.
and
We'll
in
speak
Southern
more.
California.
Say no more. Oh,
Anyways,
If
Nope,
I can
maybe.
just jump in
Nope,
for
maybe.
one. If I can jump in for 1 second, over the course of his drunken rant, he did mention that he does talk to people, and he'll mention he's from the Great Debate community. They're like, "Oh, I've heard of that," and he took this as a feather in his cap pertaining to the Google Plus group. And just as Jackie was indicating, the Great Debate community doesn't mean his Google Plus group to most people, and him making it like it's the fame of his G Plus group is just kind of absurd. Sorry, go ahead,
Can I-
Jackie. You just
I
came
wasn't
case
done.
in point.
I wasn't done. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I wasn't done because the whole point is that I like saying that I met Kevin in the Great Debate community. And what am I supposed to say now? And that I think that's partially why I'm so affected by the whole appropriation thing, is because this is where I met the love of my life. And
Aw.
now I have to like say, oh, but it's not Steve's group, but
Yeah.
what? And then if Steve ever like excommunicated me from the community that I met Kevin in, now it's a shit. So I don't like it.
Well, that's just it. I mean, he didn't found the community that you met Kevin in. He's just co-opted the name.
Unfortunately, I mean that. But I was talking to MP right before class, and MP made a great point. Well, he made a few. Steve is only using the power that we all gave him, and the fact that people have seen me and seen Fiona, a few other people. Well, people like me and Fiona are the reasons why he is I guess successful as he is. The reason why he can then try and ostracize those of us who gave him that power is funny, but we have no one to blame but ourselves, and that's something I've been kind of reflecting on, and so that's something that I guess we need to really look at, is that if folks are really just so far up Steve's ass that they're willing to give him even more power and control over who has what dialogue and what happens and who is considered part of what, then folks need to really take some time to sit back and think about the consequence of that.
I agree. Jordy has something to say.
All right, just going back just a tidbit. You have to look at it like this.
Oh no, it's
I'm
Jordy.
just gonna push my seniority out the window here because I've been here for like almost a decade. Motherfucker, this shit started before Hangouts, although it popularized it.
Yeah.
There were Ponage videos, like with like TJ of all people. TJ started like the Ponage Fortnite like probably like 7 or 8 years ago. Although you wouldn't have called the Great Debate, this would be the start point around where people started doing Ponage, the Ponage Olympics with Coughlin 616. 666 or 000, you have a lot of people that like existed before this dipshit. Just to be clear, because there's lots and lots and lots of history.
Massive amounts.
Before Steve fucking Mcrae. Guaranteed. Yeah. Sorry.
The Steve Mcrae era, as I call it, is a blip on the radar, honestly.
Okay, I never participated in the actual G Plus group. Can you guys shed some more light on topic number 10?
So Steve has basically like a short list of things that he finds acceptable for dialogue. So I give you a perfect example, like political stuff. He doesn't want political stuff because
that's changed.
And I'm paraphrasing him. He finds the conversation too distasteful, and he thinks that it'll get out of hand. Has nothing to do with.
There's a political section now.
There's one now, but that was when it was brought up months ago. He was talking to me about it, and I was like, well, that's more discussion. Like, I'm not seeing a big idea. I said, okay, yeah, some people go far right. I see your point there, but he has little regard to what the people themselves actually want. It's about him personally and his vision. And people who are in his group really don't seem to realize that for some reason. It's never about what the community wants. It's never been about what the community wants. It's about Steve Mcrae, his fucking insecurity, and his fucking vision that he has concocted in his head. I'm telling you this from personal experience.
I agree. I mean, I remember being in a hangout some time ago, and I think it was when I have largely stopped going to them. I didn't go to them a huge amount anyway, but it's like, yeah, why would I be interested? In going there if I get shut down? Because what happened was it was getting towards the peak of the election period, and Trump and the political stuff was in the hangout, and I was basically going across my little thing about and I was saying I don't like Trump, and I was explaining why, and I said I also don't think that Bernie would win because he has declared himself to be a socialist, and and I'm not voting for no commie would be the theme that everybody would go against him. It doesn't matter; the details aren't important. But effectively, he just tried shouting me down, rather than having a reasonable discussion about it. It was like, no, I disagree with you. I'm going to shout you down. And so effectively, it was like, okay, I felt intimidated enough to just shut up. Why would anybody want to have a conversation on those terms?
Regarding point,
you're now looking at an echo chamber.
Regarding point number 10, he has caved on a few things like the political discussion thing when enough people have asked for it. But yeah, the long and short of it is, as was mentioned earlier, it's about his vision. His vision for what the group should be, what the community should be, is always going to take precedence. So he'll accept criticism or recommendations from people only if they don't conflict with his vision, which is fine if it's your own channel. Like if it's your own channel, that's 100% expected.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me sneak in for 1 minute for those that have joined late, because I just noticed that Halo Blue asked. Yes, since brass tacks was made a topic, I thought that instead of just leaving the monologue that's out there, we should go through it properly, and that's what this entire hangout's been so far.
Please share. Please tag. Feelings will be hurt.
Okay, I think we can move over on to the next section here. Was this a section that you guys wrote, or were these the people that added to the doc?
So these first two sections are something that I copied from two separate individuals.
Okay.
And I apologize if you guys hear me tearing or chopping food.
No, that's okay. We muted you. We're fine.
All it's doing is making me hungry.
I was going to ask you if it was lettuce or what,
I'll
but
put it
yeah.
on camera when it's cooking. Korean stir fry.
Bastard.
Yeah.
Okay. Using the GDC as some weird proxy for himself. Criticisms of him turn into criticisms of the GDC, even without people so much as referencing content, moderation, or anything concerning the organization, loosely put, itself. He's denied this in a hangout with Maute.
No, and see, that's one of the things.
How about the fact that we're sitting here excommunicated?
Yeah, there is that.
Makes the argument for us. We don't. There's not more to say.
We are not allowed. Steve is not permitting us to identify ourselves as members of the Great Debate Community. So you better not do that. You better not do that.
Really upset.
You'll be on the
I'm
naughty.
happy.
You don't want to be on the
not gonna
naughty
be
stool,
mean,
do you?
But
It's kind of weird, though, that somebody would sit there and call themselves the Great Debate Community and then start kicking out the old guard.
And no, it's not just the old guard, though. I mean, you take MP, because, effectively he got kicked out for strenuously disagreeing with Steve about the definition of atheist. I mean, how thin-skinned is that?
Makes him seem like a little bitch, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
well, you ask him why.
It's not just that. It was the manner in which it was done. It was I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, but I think they should be banned. It's like, he, as the owner, saying, it's like saying, I own this shop. And, I'm not telling my staff what to do, but I think they should, I think they should be kicked out of the shop.
I think they should. I don't know. I can't remember the exact analogy that I used the other day, but it's akin to if you had 100 companies making toothpicks, and then you started a company making toothpicks and demanded that nobody else could use the name toothpick for the product. It's kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see now. Point 2 in this subsection. The GDC doesn't have a real direction and seems to operate under some mysterious protocol only known to Steve himself. Connected to
Yeah,
that,
That is
that was
absolutely
purely
true.
about let's have a proper set of rules here. Consistency.
Yeah, it's 100% true. Everyone has always said it. It's whatever Steve's rules are at that moment.
And actually, I showed people an old conversation I had with Steve where he just describes, "Oh, we're going places," and I actually had confirmation very recently that he has a bit of a mantra. He didn't really have a direction. He says, "Oh, we're going global, we're going nationwide,"
It's
and
going to
he'll
be
mention,
huge.
yeah, it's going to be huge. Like we've heard this before. It is he doesn't actually know where he is heading. He just knows that if he gets more exposure, then that's a good thing. That is kind of in Steve's mind or his conception of just general growth in any direction. But yet, folks, this is a hobby for him. It's not
if he wants
professional.
exposure,
It's
I
a
think we're giving
brand.
him some.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Can I interject that the old bones of the community, what we're calling the old community, was already mostly bones and marrow at that point anyways. It was dying.
Yeah, it was to a degree.
It was basically a skeleton in a desert.
Yeah,
It
but
existed. It was bones and marrow, but it
you
existed.
know, even I stepped down for a while. I was kind of willing to let it die down a bit and wait for another generation, so to speak, to start it up again, because that's how it's always gone. The ebb and flow is always there.
Well, it's more of a generational thing because I say like the Ponage videos are mostly like first generation, what you would call the Great Debate. Then you like the second generation or like would probably be in between where like the Hangout started, and then the third generation was like Boughton and those people, and then right what now would probably be the fourth generation of what you would call the Great Debate.
I would disagree with the Bottom being what's it? Because he was doing podcasts before Hangouts.
Actually, that's true. That's true. But like the G plus, what I would say was probably the third set of that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Hangouts, like, cause like Brian, I would like Brian J's like Friday Fails. I would say was probably like a second generation beyond like Ponage like the Ponage videos. And then there became this big giant Google Plus group, which I would say was the third generation. And then you have the fourth generation, which is Steve's little cavalcade of stupid.
But this is the kind of ebb and flow that I'm talking about. And each generation brings new tactics, new techniques, new arguments. Well, not so much with the new arguments, quite honestly. They end up inevitably going back to the old fucking arguments, and we have the cycle for that. But anyway, regardless.
Are babies atheists?
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. I was going to say that.
Can I just point out something Spackle says here on the live
Please.
chat? I think this is making people products.
Okay, that goes to something that isn't actually, as far as I know, in this, but something that really irked me when he was claiming that it's harder to do and arrange Google Hangouts than it is actually produce proper videos, which set me and Jackie and a whole bunch of people
We'll
off.
get to that. We will get to that.
Oh, is that in here?
That's in the Drunken Ramble.
Oh,
It's
we have
in the
that
Drunken
covered.
Ramble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not in the document. Because a part of me wanted to put that in there, but I figured it was too personal. Again, me giving concessions to someone who doesn't deserve it.
Did he say something regarding making Hangouts being so much more difficult than making videos prior to the document being made?
He's
He's always
much,
thought he's a
but,
fucking genius. Yeah, he's always thought he's a fucking underappreciated genius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see now. We're done with 2. Let's move. Oh, connected to that. Quote, because this is supposed to be directed at him. You pointed out, and Maute attempted to gauge the direction by asking probing questions to no avail. And then we get to number 3. Opinions dealing with how the GDC operates are filtered through a criteria which Steve alone establishes. Contributors are only people who are not maligned when putting forth criticism constructive. Contributor has been defined vaguely as those who come into Hangouts with Steve.
Yes,
It's
that's
the
something that
same
I
as
found
what we've
out.
said before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 4, who wants to cover hypocrisy?
I can barely read that on my phone.
Sorry, I'm on my phone too.
Yeah.
So this is something that that Sam, he got upset. Remember when he came crying to me that you were being too mean to him, and criticizing him about, is the GDC high-minded or is it a show for entertainment? because he wants to pretend his show is above TST, but he has no problem going on and on about, ridiculing true empiricism.
How long did we go? Like, he's even said, like, oh, like, if they want to go on about Ronnie, like, I'm not gonna stop him. I just find it boring. I was like, really? Because his DNA and water seem to be your scientific fascination for 6
Can
months.
I just bring up again that when Kevin and I met him in person, like 80% of our conversation with him was about Ronnie.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
And
I think
go back.
our conversation was mostly about beer.
I've been in one of his hangouts, and I said, "Oh, come on, half of your content is talking about Ronnie." It's like, I haven't talked about Ronnie for weeks. I looked it up. He talked about it in 2 days before. It's like I think I said something along the lines. You can't, I don't think I've seen a single hangout of yours where you haven't mentioned Ronnie at one point or another.
That'll become relevant later.
Yeah, go back up to that first image. These are images that I took that first screenshot because I said, well, this is odd. You're not even in a hangout. This hangout just started. MP just began talking, and he feels the need to put this out there. Stick to law, MP. You suck at philosophy. Now, imagine someone saying that to Steve. Then they become a troll.
Also, like, let's be honest about knowledge of philosophy. Steve didn't know shit until he started just fondling Ozzy's nuts every single time he got the chance. Like, I'm not gonna call it something else, but that's like, oh, I drink the Ozzy Kool-Aid.
It does seem like most of, if not all of what he knows about philosophy, he learned from talking to or listening to the videos of Ozzy and Alex Malpass. That's the impression I get. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
I agree with you, because I remember being in one of his hangouts some time ago, and a bit like a shuffle, the topic kind of changed, and of course I don't go in those hangouts very often because it's too science heavy, and I don't know enough about science. Philosophy I can deal with, and so what happened was the topic went into philosophy, and so I joined the hangout because this is something I can get my teeth into. And then about 15, it may not have even been 15 minutes later, suddenly Steve was obviously quite bored with this, not his deal, and so he tried shifting it to, science or Ronnie or something or other, and so it's like, oh well, thanks for that. That conversation that I was really starting to enjoy has just been stolen away from me because Steve was bored.
It's the one-man show, except when it's on his own channel by himself. Unfortunately, he needs other people in their fucking hangout to provide the entertainment and the educational shit.
Don't you realize, Drag, he transmutes his talent into you?
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's how it works. Like,
actually,
you're just a dumb stooge.
If I can sneak in for one moment, Christian, the reason why you doubt Drag ever suggested that he take over the community is because Drag, and that's not in his nature. We all know that. Well, anyone that's known Drag for any length of time, that's fucking ridiculous. That requires effort, and Drag refuses to put that in.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I'm curious who actually believed that. Like, I'm genuinely curious who believed that lie.
It's not only that. Drag just doesn't have the time. He's got a kid, and he's got a family, and he's got college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should be asleep right now, but this is too funny.
I'm moving to the next slide here.
Well, it's okay. You're on the West Coast. You got time.
Now,
yeah,
I didn't actually read the majority of these different things because I assumed that you just put these in as evidence to kind of back up your claims.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these screenshots are just because I actually ended up using one of these screenshots in the question that I had asked him when he came in, because again, this is about, for me, the mischaracterization of MP, and some people forwarded me these screenshots. And I was just baffled because he builds a narrative off of little to nothing, and then you have to wonder, is he really that stable? Like, if you read, I don't think it's this one. It might be the next one that I put further. Apology. I'm not sure. It's
more of the same shit. Holy crap! Let me scroll down further.
Yeah,
more of the same crap. Merry Christmas. Okay. People decided to leave the GDC because blah, 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 blah. Narrative changing slightly. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first and second version because he actually took some stuff out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. There. Okay. There are some of the notes.
Yeah.
There's some of the notes that I took.
Now, I assumed that most of these notes were taken because you expected him to object and you wanted to be able to say, okay, here's an example, here's an example. And in that regard, I think this document was very well done because you wanted to basically be able to cite examples. I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that was the intended purpose of the document. That's why you'll see notes like that underneath some of the screenshots.
You just keep adding more drama to stop the drama. That's a great line. Yeah.
So I think, the Maute section right there, because I start separating it. I think that's what a lot of people.
This is actually kind of a key section here.
So notice that they have names next to them and dates, probably indicating that I didn't write this and that these are the opinions of people. I mean, he can be upset with them all he wants. The fact that they're in a text form, I mean, is really irrelevant.
There we go. Let me line that up a touch here. Okay, the Maute comment, seeing as he, of course, is not here to speak for himself because he has a life. I have little info about Steve's most recent shenanigans, although I did watch a bit of the MP hang. This document is titled Brass Tacks, so here it is. There are at least 3 overlapping issues at work here. Steve is an unhappy guy using the intertubes to distract him from this depression. Mind you, this is actually Maute's remarks, this is not Sam, this is not Drag, this is Maute's remarks. There we go. The GDC is merely the most recent version of a platform that is being done far more successfully by almost every other atheism or philosophy of religion G+ community. Let's keep in mind GDC only has a few more members than I have subs on YouTube, and I haven't provided consistent content in years. Steve is ill-equipped to manage others, handle drama, or provide the necessary structure to succeed. Now, the part of the reason why I wanted to make a point of reading that is that he wasn't sitting there saying, I think you're depressed and all this other crap. And even funnier still, in that drunken rant, he said that he's not going to listen to somebody like Steve or Drag when they claim he's depressed. He's going to listen to a professional. Incidentally,
Maute or Drag.
What is Maute's profession?
Doesn't he have a degree in psychology?
Yes, he does.
He's a psychological researcher.
Yeah. Just felt the need to point that out just to be a complete and total prat.
That a bitch.
That said, pointing out Steve's flaws has the same effect as pointing out anyone's flaws who thrives on attention yet pays lip service to eschewing it. I've seen way too many multiple paragraph posts from Steve trying to prove how little he cares about something, and that's not how it's done. If anyone isn't interested in the GDC drama revolving around its moderator, I suggest jumping ship and ignoring it, not being an audience to it. If you want to watch out of morbid curiosity, cool, just admit it without pretending you are helping Steve. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that's the end of the Maute part.
I mean, that part about really long posts about how little he cares about it. That again, that's more Ronnieism. I don't take it seriously. I don't take them seriously.
I don't take it seriously, and that's why I obsess over it.
Yes, you do, bitch.
I can't tell you how often I've listened to people go on drunken rants about things they don't care about. Very, very often.
Sam, I'm assuming you don't have a copy of it handy on your system there.
No, I don't. So you'll have to read it for me.
Let me,
I don't care about titties, but I go on drunken rants.
This is the part that he focused on one line of, and I believe he took completely out of context. However, my voice is getting hoarse as shit, and I need something else to drink. So, Kevin, how about you? Do you mind taking it?
Hold on, just
Sam's been 12/27/17.
I can read it if you like.
Right, I got it. Yeah, I actually see Steve's depression a little bit differently from Maute. I think it's a form of learned helplessness. think about this sequence of life events. 1, he's in nuke school, apparently quite an accomplishment. 2, working middle management in retail, okay, not bad, but still respectable. Unemployed and making a living as an internet beggar, god awful, and the reason for this doc. That's what he focused on, which I don't think is what Sam meant there.
Yeah, just continue reading it, please.
That's literally the opposite progression than one would want, and makes no fucking sense. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's something at play here, and I don't quite understand. Play here that I don't quite understand, and I don't feel close enough to Steve to address. I spoke to Hannah a lot about Steve's previous job search. Apparently, she was trying to help him in that area, and it seems like Steve has a ton of pride to the point where he'll refuse the work he views as beneath him. That's fine if you're constantly pursuing options, which he isn't. If he wants to make the GDC his career, I think that's a dumb idea, but he could at least try. From what I can tell, his health, life, and finances have gone to hell in the past 2 years, so this is multi-symptomatic. What makes it worse is that his pride doesn't allow him to admit that his life is going to shit. The GDC problems are a symptom of something deeper. How do we get below that surface?
Now, out of that entire thing, the one thing he focused on was the e-begging thing, which really I don't feel was the point of that section. And the people in the chat, if you disagree, you're welcome to say so, or if anyone in here, and granted, I'll talk to them, I know their opinions in general.
No, I mean, I just get a taste for Arby's all of a sudden, but no, I think it is very fair.
Well, I mean, what I was trying to get across, and it's not something I would have said publicly, is the first thing that I want to say. So I'm not defending this as a public statement. I'm defending it as it being my private thoughts. And I've apologized multiple times. I've said, you know what, this was, it's a shitty thing that got out. But my whole thing is like, and I was very apprehensive about even if we should do something to help Steve, because I just don't see a route, and I'm further emboldened in this opinion. I don't see a route that helping him is even a possible thing, because there's just shit that's going on in his life that none of us really are able in a position to address. And that was really the central point.
We really feel sorry for him, honestly. Like, initially, we're kind of pissed off about all the lies, but then you sit back and you look at kind of what's going on and what all that he's kind of concocted, and you feel sorry for him,
And that's genuinely where I'm coming from, is at the time as a friend, just thinking, man, this is just a shitty lot that he's in. And I know he's not happy, as much as he can say, oh no, I'm completely content with where I'm at. I just don't see that as being true. And
that's bullshit.
it just makes me, it just makes me as a friend sad. And that's what motivated it, I do feel bad now that, I kind of have outed Hannah as having some of these conversations with me, and I know she wanted to be kept out of it. But
okay, I'm going to step in for 1 second on that though, because the thing is, whether somebody could look at it as, oh no, you guys are talking about him behind his back or whatnot. You were looking for ways to try to help him. I mean, this actually did come from a decent place from, frankly, all of those that were involved. They were like, okay, here's somebody that's in kind of a bad situation in his life in some regards. What can we do? And if he's going to be serious with this GDC thing, what can we potentially do to help guide him and help? I mean, that's really kind of what my takeaway is. Am I wrong?
Well, if you look at it from his point of view, if we're out to get him, how many videos have I made about not subscribing to him? How many people have I told, you know what, you should just leave, you should say fuck Steve, Steve should be homeless? How many videos have I made like that? I made a video excoriating who I thought released the document. Turns out it was me. Made an apology video, said that, you know what, I'm not going to be a part of it. You all can be. I'm not going to force people to choose. And then everyone who's come up to me, subsequent of that, I've told there is no choosing. There is no us versus them. Like, go where you feel comfortable, and I'm not playing this fucking game. So
yeah, I'm not a child, and I don't think it. There are very few people, really, if anyone, that I can think of off the top of my head, where I'm like, if you're close with this person, I can't be close with you. It's not that way. And I've made an explicit effort of, like, you know what, like, do your thing if you're part of that community, and I had already, the ironic thing here is when I was excommunicated, I had already left. So him waving his dick around about me being excommunicated is just fucking stupid.
Oh, dude, I got a phone call about that, where someone told me that, yeah, it's funny that he's being that crazy girlfriend that after you've broken up with her a week later, she's spreading around school that she broke up with you. Because I went on MP's hangout, like, I don't know, it was a few days, I think after Christmas when my family was here, and we're about to walk into fucking Cheddar's, and I go, look, I'm leaving the GDC. I'm tired of Steve's shit. I don't like his mischaracterization of MP. And that's that. Like, I had already left, and I hadn't been back in months, so I'm not sure what his little grandstand was for, other than show me that he just behaves like a petulant child.
He's basically crowing that he bolted the door after the horses left.
Oh, good. I mean, hey, I didn't do anything in the group anyway, so I'm not sure what like announcing that was supposed to do for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
probably
it
made
made
him
him-
feel like he had a
made
reasonable
him
sized
feel
penis.
It made him feel better about you choosing to leave.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's fundamentally what it is. So I think we can move on. I think we've put a pin in my comment, and you're about to hear some sizzling because I'm putting some vegetables in the pan.
Yeah, I'm actually
Oh.
scrolling down towards the bottom here because the document is pretty well over. There are some other recorded comments from offline discussions and this kind of stuff. But I think my favorite lines are these ones near the bottom here. And I quote, "What the fuck? You expect people to read this?" Signed by Angry Midget.
I don't know who the angry.
If they're bored enough, they will. Reasonable, smart guy.
Yeah, Thallow Blue, that's not accurate. He keeps telling people, like, anytime Steve tells you that he's cool with people, you need to go and talk to those people, because I've not talked to any one of those individuals and repeated what Steve has said, and they go, "Oh yes, I agree with that statement completely." No, that Steve has some conception of that relationship or that truth. He's warped it in his favor, and then it's weird. It's really weird. But no, MP is not a part of the GDC anymore. Funny though, he actually left on his own accord because of his recent antics. So yeah.
Okay, as a footnote, there is a link in the description, and now that we've finished going through brass tacks, the hangout is open and anyone can join if they'd like to.
Are we gonna go through the drunken rant, or are we gonna leave
Please.
that for another night?
I think we should probably save that for another night. I mean, this has been enough of this shit for a day, and I don't even know
All right.
necessarily the shuffle is the right place to discuss that. Maybe people will figure out a better place later.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I do think
Fair
that
enough.
it does need to be put on display at some point of just
Yeah.
like, this is the level of delusion, you know, because I'm not pleased that, you know, my name is being thrown around as if like I'm the thing I'm more upset about is, you know what, if Steve wants to defame me and say that I'm a meanie poopy head and all of these things, like I don't care, you know, he can kiss the smelliest part of my ass, but you know, when it comes down to him acting as if I didn't put in that I'm just out to get him, I mean, that's just ridiculous and defamatory.
The bullseye is off your head now. Now I am public enemy number one.
Thank you for your
you
sacrifice.
Did you join Shadow Syndicate?
What? Wait, why the Shadow Syndicate? Just because I'm the one that held the hangout going through this shit? Come on. Okay,
Just
fine.
saying.
I'll take it.
It's the shadowy
saying.
cabal.
Yeah, there's a cabal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cabal now. Okay.
Don't make
Yeah,
me
we're
take
just-
out my extra
we're just-
cable and point it at the camera again.
Yeah.
People get
I'm
upset by
just,
that.
I'm just waiting for Shanna to send me the marching order. I mean, what? Oops, sorry, I was supposed to say
Oh,
that.
gosh. That's
Maute,
awesome.
isn't it Maute?
It's a matte black cable. The shadowy cable.
Actually, it's a white cable. I pointed at the camera during yesterday's hangout, and we discussed some of the shit in that drunken rant. But yeah, we covered that a little bit yesterday. I want to let that lie a little bit for the sake of this one. So, does anyone have any other topics? Oh, why do I still have Cult Night up there? Whoops, I forgot to take that down. Silly me.
No, I was curious. What did you actually say, Kevin? That what was his excuse for removing you?
I have no idea.
He didn't even
Our
tell
hangout
you.
last night.
It happened during the shuffle last night, which I think you heard at least part of. We were just kind of talking about some of the same stuff, but we didn't put up the document. We didn't put up the drunken rant. We were talking about the drunken rant. But I noticed midway through that first the rum and coke hangout was taken down, and it later went back up. And then not long after, my mods on the GDC group had been pulled, and my admin access on the wiki had been pulled.
That's odd. So he denied that he just surrounds himself with people who agree with him. Like he said that he actively has people who disagree with him in his little inner circle.
No, you gotta kiss the ring, though.
Which is why I made the video I did today. And if he's not mad now, then yeah.
Yeah, let's get you some attention, because I actually kind of liked the video. I thought you put a lot of thought into it. You can link it in the journal if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good video. I watched it before I came in here.
If it'll let me.
Chong, I love Goju Chong, but it is
Oh, it will let me now. Nice, I can post links.
Yeah, it's been a day. It's just the time when I said it yesterday. I didn't have everything set right. I changed some settings earlier today. And by earlier, I mean like 3 a.m.
What's up?
Sam, as delicious as that sounds, you should be jealous because I made Christopher Maute's red gravy for Hana, Redline, Sean, and
oh my god,
the jar of some of it in my fridge.
Yeah,
I left the jar of it with them.
I don't eat no red gravy. I don't know. No.
When Redline and Hannah get out here and stay with us, which I know he's still intending on doing, and I'm gonna have as many people over at my house that week in the area from the community as I can. I intend to make the red gravy. I have the recipe.
I'm just telling you right now. You guys don't know the thing about Louisiana and red gravy, do you? No, of course not. Okay, there's a way to put there's a way to put a hex or a root on a man, but if a woman takes her menstrual blood and she puts it in the red gravy.
Why would you do that? Why would you say that?
Because you're a superstitious fuck.
So I don't eat red gravy.
I will.
Yeah, Drag. That doesn't sound very skeptical.
Ew, my viewers hurt after hearing that.
If you don't believe me, go look it up.
I've got a voodoo story for you if you want.
So now red gravy has turned into the same idea as yellow snow.
So
yeah.
So wait a minute, you're actually going to host a few members of the community at your place?
If and when Redline and Hannah get out here, and I know he really wants to do that at some point this year. Yeah, I do intend to have a house party.
I don't know.
Okay, so he's not invited.
Oh fuck, that's right. I was supposed to get a drone today.
No, he is invited, but he has to have a wrestling match with me.
Are you actually going to attend, Prudent?
I mean, I
don't think he'd be able to make it.
Yeah, I don't think I usually would get tied down my work schedule.
We were only able to meet him just by sheer luck.
Just punch your shift manager.
No. Hang on.
You won't be held down.
Yeah. You won't have to come to work after that.
Play nice,
wait. Hang on. Sorry, Prudent. You said that you might be tied down at work.
Well,
did you get the job as the gimp?
Kinky.
No, that's my field. If you ask Redline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be fun, but I really doubt I would. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to invite, obviously Sam, Deidre, Captain Osimo, who actually is the one who lives closest to us, Joe Sonseed, TJ Downing, I think is in Riverside.
I might actually see TJ in May. We'll see, because I'm actually pretty close with them.
Cool. Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
You met him before?
No, as in I'm actually planning on meeting up with him in May, although we'll see if it happens.
I'll invite Burt Poole too, but I doubt he's going to show up.
How long have I been running this fucking thing?
Surprised no one else has come in yet.
Yeah. Well, link should be out there. It should be active now.
I was happy when I got to meet MP. That dude is fucking fun. I thought we were just. I was like, he was like, yeah, do you want to get another drink? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's just go to the hotel bar. It's pretty good. And we ended up closing out the hotel bar. And he we both like woke up hungover. I was like, god damn, that was a fun night. But
yeah, he told you the hospital story, right?
Yeah, god damn. I will never be on his level. It's just
never. That's true pimping.
But in advance, I'm sure you had to agree not to discuss the definition of atheism.
Oh,
Ah,
Wah,
fuck.
wah, wah.
That was
Yeah,
one of the two
That's our
times that I've
clip.
had a conversation where Steve came up offline.
Although I do realize this, if I were to, sorry, just to bring it back to the old topic, if I were to make it, don't think I could hold my drink very well, because I only drink like once a month. And that's usually
Oh, he had one beer when we met up.
Yeah, and I was a little
no
too-
pressure.
and I was-
Red Line doesn't drink, so he wouldn't be drinking either.
No,
Oh, nice.
he doesn't at all.
I was a little tipsy just after one drink, which, by the
Really?
way, thank you for paying for it, because it was on Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
The sweet of her.
No problem.
One beer? How much do you weigh? 110 pounds?
He has no
I-
tolerance. He
I
weighs
weigh-
more than I do, but I drink quite a bit more than he does.
There's also
I'm paying for Prudent's drink, and I got to pinch his cheek.
Aw.
You
I
gave
guess
Which
that's
one?
fair.
There's 4 possibilities here.
Yeah.
I think
Nice.
I think it was his right face cheek.
Yes.
Oh, you
Face
should have
cheek.
gone. You should have gone with butt cheek.
That would have
He
made a
needs-
much more interesting story,
No,
Jackie.
that's what
I
fucking Fiona does. Fiona
Yeah,
goes after ass
Oh,
cheeks like
totally.
consistently.
Of course,
Yeah,
she
she'll
does,
goose.
Fiona.
Fifi will goose your ass.
I've actually,
Literally.
when I met Hannah in New York, the first thing she did was goose me because Fiona told her to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, God.
I want to meet her.
So, just to give you
She
guys
sounds fun. Yeah.
a picture of what I'm working on here.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh
That's-
my god.
It's pretty.
Well, for what it's worth, it won't show on the live because I have cameras off in terms of the stream.
Yeah, good luck, porn bombers.
I actually do remember, when I first met up with you guys. About 5 minutes afterward, I'm sorry. It was right when we got to Santa Monica, and we took that photo right in front of the Ferris wheel. The first thing you said was, I'm gonna put when we post this on G+, I'm pretty sure Sam's gonna comment, and he's gonna be like, "Why?"
I did kind of say something
I
like-
specifically remember you saying that. So I don't think I said anything because I was still kind of mad at him.
I gotta say, Prudent, I don't think about you at all.
I don't think about you either. It was brought up.
Oh, I think they
Well,
do
you seem
protest too
to
much.
have a very vivid memory of it.
I think what he
I-
actually said was that, wow, someone actually got him out and did to do something resembling fun.
Well, nobody actually had to get me to do that because I've wanted to see Arcade Fire in concert for a long time. So,
How white are you, dear God?
Arcade Fire
I
is,
have seen
hey,
pictures.
they are one of
Pasty
the
as
greatest
fuck would be the
bands of
answer.
this
You
generation.
do not paint a good picture for Arizona.
Did we take a picture of me or not picture? I know we didn't, but did Prudent and I compare how white our underarms are?
I don't think we took a
I don't remember.
We didn't take a
Is that
picture.
a-
I was just wondering if we did that because
Is that a white people sport? Is that what white people do for
No,
sports?
yeah.
No,
see,
this is what those
hang
white
on.
Oh, what white
wait,
people do for sports is shooting up
Hang,
schools. It's different.
hang on a second. We call it the pasty off drag. It is part of white culture. It's a pasty off.
No,
Oh, okay.
I remember when Jackie met me in person. I think one of the things that she said at the airport, and correct me if I'm wrong, was, "Oh my God, you're actually whiter than I am."
No, I did not say
I
that. Hold on. Let me correct you there, Kevin. I said you're almost as white as I am. And I say that because I actually have a disorder that makes me freakishly pale.
Translucent.
And I have a cousin who has my syndrome, and they accidentally diagnosed her with
Albinism.
to be an albino.
Albinism.
Yeah.
Albinism.
I just
No.
wanted to say that there were a lot of Hispanic people at that concert, so it's not very white.
Yeah, it's California. It's Los Angeles. That's
Yes, Los Angeles.
I mean,
You want to know what the
granted,
Mexican part of Los Angeles is, Prudent?
Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
Oh, I thought the
very,
Mexican part
although I should
was
add the caveat,
was
very
Oregon.
light Hispanics.
Two at a time.
Also, no one calls them Hispanics unless they're super, super white. They're Mexicans. It's Los Angeles.
No, they're very light skinned. They were very light skinned Hispanics.
Well,
You
it
are
is an
digging
arcade. It is an
Stop
Arcade
digging
Fire
yourself
concert.
into. Yeah, you're digging yourself into such a deep hole.
They call
Never
them
come to Louisiana, Prudent. Never come to Louisiana. I'm just going to give you fair warning.
Prudent,
Out of
they,
shuffle unless
hang
I'm
on.
giving
Very
it a shit.
light-skinned Mexicans are called Castilians, if I remember correctly.
Oh, come on, man. A lot people of color love me. I'm like their favorite one.
People of color. Oh my God, that whole
We're
needs
not
to
even
be
allowed.
I
deeper.
wish Card was still a
You know,
thing because that needs
Prudent,
Hey,
Prudent,
Jordy,
you know how
Jordy,
often
cards,
black don't like
You make
cards.
cards.
People of color
We had
love
people say, you know what? I don't really like white people that much, but I like you for some reason.
You know why they say that, right?
I'm
They
not
had a
even
brain
mad.
tumor
This
and they
is
had
funny.
dementia. That's
You
why.
You knew you say stupid shit. Like that's why they say that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm happy to be of some value. Yes.
Okay, it's officially a shuffle now.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Oh, wait
It's
a
like
minute.
cream cheese
Wait.
behind
No,
your
it's
back.
not
No,
Jackie.
no, penis.
There we go.
Okay,
Now it's a
listen.
shuffle.
I know that you guys told me not to make fun of him, but when he says dumb shit,
Oh,
like
it's a
that,
no,
I
no,
feel
no.
like it's a national crime if I don't.
Oh, dude, it's playtime. I just didn't want that thing from earlier getting disrupted too much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, whatever. Just don't read it. Heads up.
They call him cream
Jesus
cheese behind his
Christ,
back.
Prudent, you're the type of person that if you ever met drag, you'd introduce yourself as, "Oh, I'm Ryan. This is my black friend Alfred."
Oh God! And no one would
You
believe
will
you
watch
to
me
get
walk the fuck away.
and no one.
Nope.
Hang on, and no one would believe that you had a black friend named Alfred. So that would just end the whole thing right there.
My boy
Yeah.
says what? That's like if I was gonna think of what name Polymath would have if I didn't
Oh
know.
my God!
Oh God!
He looks like an Alfred.
No. If you take alphabet soup and just throw it against the wall, that's his fucking name.
Well, that's
I
because
mean,
he's
that was
At least
I
his
know
last
it's
name.
yeah.
That was the thing is, Polymath was so fucking useful in that one hangout we had that was talking about what it is experientially being black in this country, because it's with an image he used and all this other shit. When I had him turn on his camera, everyone damn near shat themselves. It's like, oh my gosh, he's not white.
well, that's because when you listen to his voice, you don't really.
That is the implication, dummy. Like,
He
Jesus
is the
Christ.
whitest
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
black man I've ever met in terms of not just speech patterns, but everything about him. Everyone's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I used to get that a lot.
fucking grin and all. It was hilarious.
I knew he was
I don't see
black
it.
before he revealed his face. I knew
Oh,
it.
hold on. Everyone say our troll friend is back. Everyone say hi to Flat Earth Retard community in the comments.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
Flat Earth Retard community. He was in here. He was one of the sock accounts from last.
Was he?
Oh.
He's
Okay.
not as cool as the grape debate, though.
Well, yeah, that's
yeah.
that's
I love
we
that
won't we won't talk about who that is.
No,
but
Oh, did I fall out of sync with the external thing again? Damn it.
the best troll account is Sergeant Gibson because I get to tell a story again.
Yeah, every time he pops up in the chat,
There we go.
you get to tell the
Oh,
story.
Sergeant Gibson.
Oh, I love it.
I gotta look him up on Facebook now. After I check Coinbase,
Well,
I'm looking at these charts now.
if I still have rewind off, oh fucking well, you can watch it later from the beginning. I don't give a shit.
yeah, it's XSplit, so it might be some different shit. than
If
usual.
if I come up to your guys' place, I might make some al pastor. It's pretty delicious.
So I'm not going to say that if you go on Facebook and you type in DARRELL space Gibson, and he's a guy with a black beanie on and a beard, that may or may not be the person in the video.
Okay.
Sergeant,
Holy
If
shit.
he has Dragnot Silvis in his friends list, that's probably the guy you're looking for.
who's this guy? Navy or Army, rather. I don't know. Must be a coincidence.
Yeah, probably coincidence.
Is my viewer count accurate?
Yep, 25.
Oh, what do you know?
You're popular.
No,
Yes,
I'm
Dragnot.
not.
Drama
Wait,
Llama Ding Dong, and a bunch of people shared the link. So
Oh, okay.
Well, when
Yep.
Dragnot shares a link, everyone comes in. It's a party up in here.
and Speckle and me and Jackie and
You see, Prudent, that's how you're white with
Yeah, me
black
too.
terms.
Drag,
That's the key.
Dragnot's
You say it with
links bring all the
confidence.
boys to the yards. What?
Basically.
Okay.
And damn right, it's better than yours.
Yeah, that's true enough.
motherfucker.
Oh shit! He has a new wife. She has chiclet teeth.
Damn, bitch got a new wife.
Chiclet teeth.
He does. She has chiclet teeth.
Okay, I see the picture you're referring to. All
Hashtag
right.
chiclet teeth.
She looks better than the ex-wife.
I don't see like why there's this big fixation about how white I am. I don't get it.
Because it's a running show.
It's a running
Because-
gag. It's funny. Get over it.
Because
Because the
you
closer you get the cream cheese, the better, the more powerful you become.
Okay, we got it now. Good
His
night,
powers of mac
Spackle.
and cheese consumption increase.
Nice tackle.
The funny thing about it is, I may have the tastiest skin around out of all of them.
yeah, but you're British.
You're
You're
a fucking
you're
I believe Arizona gets sun. You know, I've
does.
seen vampires that have got more of a suntan than I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
but hang on though. We're talking about Britain though. This is the one country where they do the whole Dracula movies and whatnot. That vampires don't have to hide indoors ever.
So, Pew, what do you think? How do you enjoy Shuffle so far? I think that says it all.
Very much up my alley.
I figured it would be.
We're
That's why I was
back
going
to
to
usual business. Yeah, the one.
That's why I was going to make sure to get you.
There are very few rules in the shuffle, and most of them are deliberately not stated just so I can be an asshole and throw people out. But one of the general rules we have is no discussions of the usual great debate horseshit, because this is kind of an escape from that shit. We get tired of it.
Korean chicken.
Unless
can't
Roy
talk about
Montero
what
walks
babies
in the
eat.
room, then all bets are off.
Then it's Roy or not Roy.
Oh my god, you got it.
Oh, I
God or
remember
not
that.
God.
At which point it becomes the Roy Montero bingo card.
Oh, it
Oh,
really
God.
fucking did. It really fucking did. There was this one that we did, what was it, a couple of years ago, that we're sitting there, we're having this great conversation. Roy comes in the room, and I'm expecting we'll just keep talking about what we had been, which is like movies or whatever the fuck it was. It doesn't really matter. And all of a sudden, everyone wants to go after him, and I'm like, guys, let's just keep going with the conversation. He came in and joined the conversation, yeah. But we really want to. I'm like, Roy, you up for it? He's like, oh, I'm fine with it. I'm like, chat world, and I'm hoping people on the outside will be like, no, but they're like, oh yeah, sure, fine. I'm like, ah, fuck, go ahead, you win.
People enjoy Roy or not Roy.
Oh my god, yeah.
There was so much that came out of that.
Oh, that
There
was
was.
a fucking cluster fucking then some. I knew that the moment I agreed to that, every fucking rail was going to be stolen in a way that even Queenie couldn't compete with.
In fact, I seem to remember there was a TST which was, Roy or not Roy, and just every minute or two, someone would say, newspaper or not newspaper.
Oh, dude,
Well,
he was like a fucking sideshow. People would come to me and like, you know how to get in touch with Roy, right? We want him on our show. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Roy. There's something wrong with Roy, but whatever it is, it's fucking hilarious.
In absurd levels of black and white thinking.
Yeah,
This-
I mean,
oh,
I
yeah,
made this. I
Yeah,
know
there you go.
other people can't see it, but I made this bingo
By
card.
the way, hold on. The correct answer to the question, God or not God, is yes. It's a tautology, P or not P. Yes.
Yes or no?
True.
Junk in the trunk.
Oh god.
Dunk in the trunk.
Shit.
Yeah, I remember.
What are attributes Prudent doesn't have?
Melatonin?
Melatonin.
Melatonin.
Melanin.
Melatonin is what makes you
And a
sleep.
specific type of it at that.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
saying
gonna
he
say
doesn't
you-
make you sleep?
Shut up,
What?
chemistry nerd.
You melanin for 500.
Alex, I'll take you.
Melatonin for 500.
Straight up.
That's really expensive for melatonin.
Yeah, that shit's cheap.
That's an
Comes
orange
from-
question.
Cambodian women.
What?
John to knuckle. Oh, wait, what? No. No.
You know the way.
You know the way.
Do you know the way?
Do you know
Jackie.
the way?
My queen. Jackie, my
You
queen.
know the way.
Brothers.
My queen.
Brothers, I don't
ruined
know.
it.
I
I
can't
ruined
even
the
believe it.
shuffle. I ruined it. I fucking ruined. Yep.
We
Well,
brothers.
How can you
Should
ruin
we know that?
anarchy?
Do
Wait
you
a
know the
minute.
way? Do you know the way? My queen, I spit on you.
What is happening right now?
It's the most retarded meme of the year.
Does Sam
After-
somehow not know about
After
you
the
guys?
whole, the first meme of 2018 was eating Tide Pods, which is dumb as shit. And the second meme was Uganda Knuckles, which, although not, harmless, was annoying as fuck.
There we
And
go.
the third meme was you touch on my
I'm
spaghetti.
pro Tide Pod because I want those
dinner.
fucks to die. I don't want.
Oh, it's Darwinism in action. Absolutely.
I think there is one time where eating Tide Pods is perfectly fine, and that's if you're that idiot Philadelphia Eagles fan who decided he was going to eat shit.
Horse shit.
They touch on my
You
spaghetti.
okay there? God bless
go.
you, Prudence.
Sorry about that. I had to fix the chat link. I lost it for a few.
You lost the way.
Yeah.
You lost a way.
What the fuck is this?
I sent you a link.
Doesn't know.
What
No,
is
I sent-
happening right now?
I sent them a link. There's a history of Ugandan Knuckles somewhere on YouTube. I have to find it.
Ugandan.
Yeah,
there's
Follow
a-
me, brother. Is that
Yeah, that's what
It's
this
as
is.
dumb as it sounds.
My queen. Spit on you.
Hey.
You realize when you try to do the click noise, it does not sound like an
Jordy?
African
I
person.
like
swear to God.
Okay,
Pork.
put down the
Shut
lotion.
the
Put
fuck
down the lotion.
up.
Better yet, put the lotion in the basket.
Oh God, this hang up
Yeah,
on
there you
Skype.
go.
Oh, shit.
Them references.
It puts the lotion in the
Jordy,
basket or it gets the hose again.
Please stop.
I'm done now.
Okay. Prudence, I'm gonna drive to fucking Phoenix and murder your asshole.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna have to turn on the camera and ask what's on the table behind me at this rate.
The gun?
Yo, what's up?
No, 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 no,
Where's the puppies?
no.
Tighten up, girl. Tighten up.
There
Keep it in your pants.
Hold
Jack.
on.
Hey, you're not my Minotaur. You can't
Speaking
tell me
of
to
tighten up, and Lenny, it's his birthday today.
Oh yeah, that's
Happy
right.
birthday. Happy birthday,
If Lenny, by some fluke, manages to get away from his girlfriend long enough to watch this, happy fucking birthday.
Fiance,
Happy
fiance.
birthday.
Jackie, to be fair, me and Lenny both told you to tighten up constantly.
Incidentally,
It's the elephant in the room.
There's
Oh
an
wait, we don't talk
elephant.
about that.
So, Jackie, I'm not sure if you've heard, but we actually had to put our dog down last week.
Ooh.
Wait, another one?
Oh, I didn't tell you. Yeah, his new dog died. Or they had to put him to sleep.
Man,
Wait,
Prudent, you're a killjoy.
why are you giving her a sad?
I
Yeah,
thought
what are
she
you
was-
doing?
This is not the way.
Yeah. Okay.
This is definitely-
Everyone shut the fuck up except
for
for
Prudent.
We took him to the vet. We realized that he had an enlarged heart and an enlarged liver. He was pretty sick really throughout that entire week, and there was really nothing that we actually could do. So we had to make the hard decision. We only had him for about 6 months, as a rescue. We know he was a pretty young dog. That's what hurts the most.
Yeah, I thought you'd seen his post.
Yeah,
Oh,
I made a little post. Yeah, it's. I mean, we're fine. But
I'm
it's
so
hard because
sad for you.
it's fine. Like, I mean, it's just something we have to adjust to. That's the second dog we've had to put down in 9 months. That's the worst part.
There can't be 6 different worst parts.
So sad.
I was gonna say.
That makes me so sad.
Thank you. That's exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
Someone
job, Freddie.
whip their dick out so that it
Um,
balance is
no.
restored.
Well, in honor of Lenny, yes, I think we should all whip out our lads, but just do it with our
Whip out
cameras
your
off.
lad.
But please, cameras off.
And then you take out your lad.
Yep. Classics.
Oh
Ancient
man, that is a
classics,
classic. That was years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Are we talking about Alex Carson?
It was so many years ago that Steve Mcrae wasn't here then.
Yeah, that was pre-Mcrae.
That doesn't take much. Almost everything was pre-Mcrae. Come on.
99% of the community was
When it happens really early for me, it's always pre-Mcrae.
I just want to point out an observation.
That's when I
anybody's
come
ever
early
noticed.
and with authority that is unjustified. I'm a horrible person.
Yes, you are.
that was
What's your
funny,
point?
All right.
Let me get myself unchecked here.
those
Something.
rails, though.
That
Those
was from a day when I did not have a Google Note that has the name of every girl that I've gotten with, just in case I have to make that fateful phone call.
Oh God.
More innocent
Great.
days.
Do you have a spreadsheet yet?
You know the name of every chick you've hooked up with?
Oh.
Well, I didn't say the name.
Oh.
There is a girl on there who I don't know her name. It's just Kuwait girl.
Kuwait girl.
Do we actually have a large enough data set to do some interesting statistics on?
You mean 19th province of Iraq girl?
Shut up.
Give me a
You
hammer.
tried, Prudent. You
Prudent,
tried.
hold still. Hold still. I'm getting the
Oh,
hammer.
that reminds me. I need to add another name to the list.
Prudent?
What?
This source
No, just in case.
Oh, hold on. By the way, hey Stan, what's up? Another old name.
Yeah.
Then which? Oh,
Stan Ulch.
Sandals. Yep.
We had
No,
both.
I've been good, Kevin. I've been good. I don't do as many horrible, depraved things.
Well, I know you've gotten
You've been sticking to
grown
vanilla
up a
sex.
little bit.
I
I love.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
You
I
use
love
the,
the
slowed
caveat.
down
the
just a
Jewish
little
sex
bit.
blanket. You know the one?
A Jewish sex blanket. What are we talking
Where
about?
you,
Wait,
where you
what?
fuck through the sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I do not have one of those.
I particularly love the idea of I've changed with the caveat of as many. I don't do as many.
That was part
No,
of the
it's just there's a qualification on it.
joke. He's working on it. Not very hard.
Yeah, no.
Used to
I
work
tried-
on
I
not
was like-
sending me fucking that whatever grotesque thing that you sent me last time on Tinder. You work on that.
I did not. I didn't swipe right. I just had to send it to you
Swipe right.
because it was so
Oh, God.
ridiculous.
No.
Show them the picture.
No,
It's so
I'm not
aggressive.
showing
Oh,
I
God.
think I know
No.
what you're talking about.
It's
That
so
one.
aggressive.
Thank
It's
you.
No.
God, I
so
have cameras
aggressive.
off. That's all
All right,
I've got to say.
All right,
Yeah.
Sam, if Drag's not willing to share it, you can send it to me on Facebook.
No. I sent Sam multiple messages just so I could stop seeing it in my inbox. No, I don't need to look at that.
Oh my god.
I have standards.
It makes me so happy. I don't know why that makes me so happy.
No. That's just no.
Now you got me fucking curious.
No, this girl is like super. The best part is her description in her profile.
Like it's troll
So let
bait.
me
Like
see.
that's all it is. Like I'm happy she's a girl of that size and she's confident, but don't put troll bait in your fucking profile. Don't do that.
Wow.
Let me see. How do I do this? Copy image. And are you on Facebook right now?
I am indeed.
Okay, here's picture one.
You're gonna regret it. I'll tell you right now.
And here is
Don't do it.
Oh, God.
picture two.
Okay, now if you want, I
But
can
the best-
set you up
the
with
best
a hot
part is
poker
the
to put your
profile.
eyes out just in case.
But the best part is the profile. Look at that description. Read that description and look at that. It's
Danny dyed her
hilarious.
hair?
I ain't looking at her hair.
You should screen share it, but the exterior can't see it. Only we can
I
see
mean,
it.
she's
Yeah,
a negligee.
I got camera off on the stream, so fuck that
Yeah,
shit,
the
man.
second one's the better one. So in that case, I'll.
There's no better picture.
Yeah, better
Is
isn't
there
more
one?
representative. Better
Can you-
isn't like
can you
more
send me the
representative of what
link?
you're trying to show.
I think I've seen this, but I don't have it.
Look, I don't know what she's trying to show, but I don't want to see it.
All right. So
No,
drag
but the
close your
best
eyes
is
then.
the description where she says not to degrade her, and those are her pictures.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember.
what do you-
Oh yeah, that one. That one.
Okay, I've
Yeah,
got to ask.
swipe right if
I've
you're
got to
gonna-
ask a question though. Are we
Left.
talking
I swiped
worse than
left.
Lyrical Orion? This is our this is our how low will you go? Is this worse than Lyrical Orion?
So you remember I said I had a taste for Arby's earlier? Well, this is Arby's like by a double.
Wow.
Arby's, not Popeyes.
No, this is straight
You get your
Arby's.
paycheck. You get your G-Man Shillbucks paycheck yet? Gotta go to Popeyes with that shit.
No, someone actually sent me $50 after I told that story, right?
I was tempted to send you something.
Somebody actually did. They sent me a message on Facebook and said, here's technically you do get paid for fucking with G-Man, and sent me $50. I was like, well, thanks. I need to do this more often.
Fuck yeah. Nice.
Gotta love that independent content, unbiased.
Let me open this shit up.
Yeah,
and
well,
get a
shit, if
double
I
check
could get
now.
paid for all the smearing that I've done of G-Man, sure, I'd have some money right now. I wouldn't have to do people's papers. I mean, help people with papers.
I didn't know getting paid to talk shit on the internet was a thing that you could do.
Evidently it is.
Okay.
Well, you just call it a
So
great.
someone hit me up, please.
Hang
God.
on.
You call it a
I'm going
great.
to
What you do
recommend.
is you call it the great debate, and then
Oh yeah, there
you
you go.
look like a
You-
homeless
you-
person.
yes, you
No,
get
no, no,
and-
no,
paid.
no, no, no. You don't really make money doing that, apparently. So what you do is you start up something like, and I'm going to recommend this for the external, either the Scathing Atheist podcast or God Awful Movies. Both fun.
Now you get paid to talk shit on the internet. Rum and Coke is monetized.
Oh, but the two of them, they for those who podcast, they make pretty decent money, but they are professional comedians and they're funny as fuck.
You know, I got to point out. I mean, I know it's something that's in the drunken rant, which wasn't supposed to be. One of the things I found most irritating was the idea that it takes more effort to run a hangout.
Oh boy.
Bro, I
that's-
think Sam told me about that, and I thought Sam was fucking with me. And then
Yeah,
I
you
went
thought
back
I
and
was
listened to
lying.
it. And I thought he was lying. I was like, there's no way
Because
he fucking
sometimes
said
I will
that.
fuck with drag.
Please see my list of timestamps.
I went and looked, and I listened to it. And I was like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way he actually believes this. Like, how did I... Like, a part of me feels stupid for not realizing how crazy he was. But I actually went back and looked at some of the conversation we had. I'm like, how the fuck did I not pick this up? Because he starts implicating me into things. And I just kind of brushed it off. You're like, oh, fiction fighter is a fucking troll. Do you condone her behavior? Are you with her? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, crazy man? It's like, okay, maybe he's just emotional. No, he is just legitimately out of his fucking mind.
Well, I mean, one of the bits that makes me chuckle, because he's like, I create content on YouTube. It's not all great debate stuff. I do model railway videos. I can film 13 hours of me doing modeling just to record it, and then I will edit it down into something that's like 20, 30 minutes, something like that. That will take me another 8 hours to work through it, and I'll skim through.
But there's not rum and coke.
May I politely remind?
Hang on,
May I
Jackie.
politely-
Jackie has the floor. Here's your talking stick. It goes shaky, shaky.
May I politely remind the audience and the members of this room that I have a college degree in making videos. Just think about the hours and hours and hours that it took to earn a degree in making videos. And then also, I went to high school for making videos, and now I professionally make videos. So you can imagine how listening to that bit of the drunken rant actually made me feel disrespected.
Well, I mean, Jackie, come on. You have to admit, spending a couple hours harassing somebody to go into some fucking hangout's clearly harder than the hours and hours you put into that, right?
Right, Strife?
And of course, you can get a degree in hangoutology.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I
graduating from
totally
Steve Mcrae
forgot about
School.
that degree.
There's the mandatory course on drinking the Aussie Kool-Aid.
No, what?
Wait. With an oral exam with Professor Lyrical Orion. Nailed it! If you guys just...
Followed by about cleaning up used condoms, what?
No, what's funny, you talk about Steve Mcrae school. In that hangout, one of the guys who was in there, Look-a-Pig, he's weird, but he's one of Steve's fanboys. He said, yeah, Steve, I would be honored if you would mentor me, so 20 years down the line, maybe I could take this thing over from you.
God, I hope that was sarcasm.
I doubt it. With that guy, no.
The way he
that
said
guy
it,
is
it
a
didn't
weirdo.
sound like sarcasm, but I really want to believe that it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a doctorate in doucheism. Yeah, that's a thing.
Why not?
Actually, there's an outfit that's based, I think, in Seattle. That it's technically religion-based in a manner of speaking, but you can get your doctorate in anything. It's basically they've realized that Doctor of Divinity means dick, so you can name it whatever you want to.
Yeah. Another class at the University of Steve is Hipster Agnosticism 101. Got to have that in there.
Oh my God.
You know,
Run by someone who is definitely not an atheist. Definitely not an atheist. Doesn't believe not an atheist.
If you change your affiliation from agnostic to atheist, you automatically get 17,000 subscribers. That's the fact. I learned that straight from Steve himself. Like I didn't know that shit. I was like, man, I learned something new every day. Look at that.
Where are my subs now? Hey, I made one fucking video.
But did you say you were an atheist
Steve,
in
and
it?
I got like 7 subs. So.
But did you say you were an atheist in it? If you said you're an atheist, you would have got 10, 20,000. Oh wait, no, that only
No, you
applies
got
to him.
all you needed. But
You gotta humble
here's the
brag a
problem,
little bit and
Track,
say you're not an atheist.
is you have that coital exam with Lyrical coming up, so I don't think you're gonna pass.
Okay, and for the benefit of those,
Well, yeah,
out in chat,
she might force you to she might force you to retake it.
for those out in chat world, I'd just like to add that roughly 30 minutes ago I started drinking, so fuck it.
Yeah, I just want to know if you can get 10,000 subs by just saying, you're an atheist. Where are my other 9,326?
Well, you got to do what Steve is doing. That was the point. Like the reason he doesn't have 10,000 subs, the only reason that he specifically doesn't have 10,000 subs is he is not a professed atheist.
Well, I mean, after all, he did actually found the Great Debate community. And what does he say? Do you have the clip of that?
Oh yeah, that's one. That's one of the last one. Yeah, let me get it. Yeah, no. He listened to lots of Aussie videos. He talked to Alex Malpass a bunch, and he came to this conclusion. He has value. No, he's sticking by those values, man. He's got standards, epistemic standards.
Oh, hang on. Never mind being fine with Godless Girl. He was sitting there talking about how much he likes Bulldog because Bulldog's a dick to everyone but him. He thinks he can trust Bulldog.
Ha ha. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah.
Actually, do you want me to play it?
If you don't mind playing it right quick.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
You mentioned Bulldog.
Everybody.
I actually, a long time ago, when I was very new to being like a chat moderator for Steve's channel, I actually timed out Bulldog because he was being a dick to somebody, and then like everybody else in the room was like, "Whoa, why should you time out Bulldog?"
Because he's
I did legitimately feel bad for that because I didn't know who Bulldog was.
I'll tell you later who Bulldog is.
All right.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
The reason why I don't have to
shut up.
The reason why I don't have to be subject higher, show the truth, is I'm not a professed atheist. If I was professed atheist, I tell you right now, I would have 10,000 subs. But I
what?
It's because I have my own values, I have my own position, and I'm epistemically certain that my values that I hold right now are true. Right? And so I'm not going to sacrifice that to gain subs. And I hope people respect that because I have worked out my epistemic framework to no end. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm atheist, there's no God, in order to get the subs. I'm just not going to do it.
No, it gets better.
But I tell you right now, if I was a professed atheist, do you not think I'd drop the up there with the whole, cosmic skeptic fucking range? I'd be pushing 50,000 subs or more. I really do think that.
Oh yeah, he was drunk off his fucking gourd. Yeah.
But that's not how I want to build my channel.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. Like I want somebody, please. There's like 20 of y'all watching now. Wow, somebody find me anyone who really believes that. Like just like no, all bullshit aside, find me somebody who believes what he just said, including Steve. Find me somebody who legitimately believes that bullshit because he starts talking about his values and shit. Like one of the reasons why MP is no longer on his channel, MP, I just talked to him today, is because he's upset that Steve lied. They specifically spoke about the lies that Steve told about him. So I don't know where these values come in that he's talking about, but evidently one of them is not telling the fucking truth.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that he used the fact that he's undisclosed as like some sort of like.
He's
I
not
don't know.
undisclosed. He's not undisclosed.
Oh,
He's a
he's
very,
agnostic? Okay,
he's a
never
very
mind.
particular kind of agnostic, but he's not a Huxleyan agnostic, which is a particular philosophical position where you kind of it takes the view that no
Okay.
one can. It's impossible in theory and principle to know whether gods exist or not.
Okay, never mind.
His isn't exactly that, but he's agnostic. He's not undisclosed, but he's
Oh, sorry,
not
I
an
stand
atheist.
corrected.
Not an atheist.
I think the
though.
term you're looking for is pedantic cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hipster douche.
I think the term you're looking for is he is actually an atheist. Get over it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he white knights for the atheist community, because whenever someone, like some guy with, I don't know, like a couple dozen subs on YouTube and less than 100 views, makes a video in his car just sort of giving his thoughts about what he thinks it means to be an atheist, Steve will make a post in the GDC saying about how this guy is making the atheist community look bad. Because I don't like this. This is problematic.
Okay.
Yeah,
In order to make something look bad, you need to be visible.
What's shit?
First of all.
Zing.
So yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Actually, he does not white knight for atheism as bad as he white knights for Mormonism. Does anybody remember anytime Mormonism was brought up?
What?
Anytime people brought up, because he used to be a Mormon, he will white knight for them every single time. There's a few hangouts.
Holy fuck, I didn't know that. So did Lyrical.
Yeah.
She was a Mormon.
Yeah, hey, they connected with special underwear. Like there are quite a few times where they would white knight like
special underwear. I think it was no underwear.
Then maybe they went to Arby's together.
No,
But
they found a gap in the underwear. Anyway, keep going.
But yeah, a few people brought up, that fucking cartoon, that crazy cartoon about Mormonism, and Steve will go, oh, no, that's complete fabrication, all of it. Like, he will actually get really indignant and defend Mormonism against that fucking cartoon. I remember a few instances of that. So challenge one of his little sycophants to bring that up. Like, bring up the Mormonism cartoon and watch how he reacts to it. It's hilarious.
Actually, if you
That's
really
what
want to
he
get
wants.
attention on YouTube, what you do is declare that you're a chocolate atheist.
I'm just mad I didn't take that first.
God, that was so bad.
Do you know, I got to point out from the G-Man Chocolate Atheist thing, he was talking to Shannon on Steve's channel.
Was this before or after they made up?
Sorry?
This is before or after Steve and G-Man made up?
I don't know.
Because I missed that. I think a lot of people missed that. So, okay, go ahead.
I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago anyway. So G-Man still doesn't know what the No True Scotsman fallacy is. He realizes that he couldn't disprove a fallacy, but he still doesn't know what that fallacy actually means.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't understand how to, like, when people first, and this was years ago, and I don't know how many people actually remember this. When people first started telling G-Man that his logic is fallacious, he thought it was an atheist like word trick or word game that we just invented just to fuck with him. Like that's literally what he thought. And he would, you laugh, man, but it's the fucking truth. Like
I'm laughing because it's the truth, man. I don't know.
Like it's sad, but so his idea, because he eventually figured out that no, atheists didn't just invent this to fuck with him. He said, I am going to circumvent logic. He literally said that shit. And so there was then a short time period where he would try and devise ways to circumvent logic. And one of these, I guess the machinations of this is his chocolate atheist, which, okay, some people believe, some people didn't. But that was
what G-Man here. Okay.
Yeah, that would talk about. I mean, it's G-Man, Steve Mcrae, same personality. But it's really funny to really sit down and look at some of these things, and just go, wow, somebody actually sat down and said this, and they were legit, like they weren't fucking around, they weren't kidding. And after beating this fucker in real life, like you realize that he's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. Few fries short and a Happy Meal. I don't know. I think Trump would be very upset by that.
Circumvent.
Okay,
I don't
that joke
think I
failed. Never
recall
mind.
that though. That must have been. That must have been God, like 3-4 years ago. Circumvent logic, because I remember a lot of the really stupid shit G-Man said back then. I don't recall that one.
This was years ago. This is when he first started becoming really popular. First started, I think that after his first few Drunken Peasant appearance.
Yeah, this would have been early 2014.
Yeah, very early.
It would be fun to actually show this to like some philosophy students.
Well, I've shown a few true empiricism videos to I've actually shown some of these videos to some of my fellow tutors when I was tutoring biology. I showed true empiricism's what was it, the circumference or the diameter of pi. I showed it to my calculus professor. I've shown quite a few things to folks, and they just like, you should see their faces. Like, if I'm not kidding, like, show it to your friends. Like, people don't know how to react because it's just so fucking stupid,
Are we
right?
talking like 5 minutes of blinking before reacting kind of things?
Yeah, well, just kind of like, hey, look at this. You got to make them think it's a meme.
They start seizing up.
I recently refound and downloaded the discussion that I had on G-Man's channel with him about, if you remember that time when he said there were like 150 times, more Christians than there were atheists, or 1,000 or whatever it was, And so I went into his hangout a few weeks later and I said, this isn't true, that there are 30 million more atheists than there are Christians. And he cackled for a moment. He said, okay, maybe some things have changed since last time I looked. What's your evidence? And I said, so what's your source? And I said, my source is G-Man saying that Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Catholics are not Christians. And then he spent 5 minutes telling me how wrong I was, that he could call them Christians because they say they're Christians, but they're not Christians really.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the no true Scotsman fallacy.
Yeah, see, it's G-Man he understands that he can change the wording of things in a particular manner, but he's not aware that that's dishonest, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think he is dishonest with it.
No, he is. No, he's being dishonest. I don't disagree. No, but for like, in his mind, he's not being dishonest. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. When I had my conversation with him about GMOs, and I said, okay, in your hypothetical scenario, our GMO burger and the regular, organic local, burger, they have the same nutritional value. He got from that, Dragnot said McDonald's is healthy. Those two statements are the same to him, because so I was like, gee, man, the words are different completely, and they have different contexts. You can't just do that. But so he had an issue with me clarifying my statement again and explaining to him that no, you just can't take a whole different context and throw it in here and assume that everyone is just going to intuit this new context you're throwing on top of it.
The sad part is he does it with a Bible too.
This is a perfect example. Is when he will you'll bring some things to his attention. He'll say, yeah, but I use the definition differently than everybody else. This is my definition. So he speaks a different language and expects you to work around his definition. And he knows he does this because it's either a combination of him not knowing something, which is frequently the case, or him being dishonest, which is when he does, and a perfect example of his dishonesty is when he'll try and pull that, God exists because Levian Satanists believe they're their own God.
Yeah, there's a way to get around that. Like there's different techniques that you can employ dealing with different CCP members. For G-Man, just start making up terms and definitions, and then just apply them into the conversation. Like start like throwing in Final Fantasy characters and items and shit like that, and then just roll with it. Like I'm not even joking. Like really do that, and he can't disagree with you, because he doesn't understand that you're doing the same shit that he does and how frustrating it is to deal with.
Well,
Ronnie,
if
did
you,
you-
well,
did
you
you
know,
hear
if
the
you apply the
protocol?
rod of infinite butt plugs to this, then the entire situation changes. Oh
Did
yeah.
you hear? Did you hear that the Gandalf protocol that this Professor Bilbo Baggins invented regarding DNA sequencing that proves his intelligent design is undeniable? You hear about that?
Dude, he will agree with you. I think I might have been G consciousness with the ancient Chocobo people.
Kevin,
Yeah.
type yes in chat, please. Jehobo, please,
Hmm?
people. Jehobo, I was just saying to Kevin to type yes in chat to
I
Halo.
told her this
Good.
one definitely will be staying up.
Oh yeah, I leave them all up in general. What I do sometimes is set them so they go offline initially afterwards, but then I put them back up within 24 hours. And that's just in case there's something in it that somebody tries a flag or something.
Gotcha.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead. The Batolo, whatever the fuck it was, people, I don't know.
Yeah, no, the Chocobos are little birds in Final Fantasy series.
Oh, yeah.
And so I tricked what's his face into saying that there's an ancient group of people named Chocobo,
Oh, no.
and that it's on I think his name is Thor's Hammer. I think it's
God,
on
I
his
ran into
channel.
that fucker once, I think.
Yeah, it's on his channel, and then this guy's they were there too. It was like someone told him, I think the next day, that there is no ancient Chocobo people. But he ran with it.
Hold on, who said this?
I want to say it was G Consciousness, but I think it was
God,
I think it was another guy, or someone who sounds a lot like G Consciousness.
He's a fucking cracker barrel. That one. Isn't he a flat earther or like a black Hebrew Israel? Like, what's his deal?
No, he's not a flat earther. He's actually anti-flat Earth, but he is I guess you could say he's not an Israelite, but it is a version of belief that is very close to that. I don't want to. I he's a part of the consciousness movement, but not Black Hebrewism.
I had to be very careful.
Hang on, the shuffle from last night is indeed available. And as soon as this is done, you can watch it from the beginning. And incidentally, yes, the very opening to this was a gag that I had pre-planned.
Wait, the one from last night is still available?
Should be.
I thought it was taken down.
I didn't see it when I looked earlier.
It should. Let me check. It should be there.
It's gone from my Hangouts participated playlist.
It's unlisted.
Oh, fuck, I'll fix that. Sorry, dude. That was a fuck up with me setting the stream. I might have to double check my channel settings. Let me switch browsers and look.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier today when I was trying to share the watch
Shit,
link.
somebody should have told me.
I thought you did it on purpose.
No. Okay, with me not running in so fucking long, I have some weird settings on my channel that I need to reset, as well as with the XSplits. So yeah.
Oh, I just want to mention another. I got to mention another comical thing about G-Man. So on TST last week, I challenged him again to a discussion, and he refused unless I admitted I was wrong about something that I believe to be the case. In order to get an audience with him, I have to prove I have to effectively agree that he was right on something that I don't believe he's right about.
Do it for the one.
Yeah,
just
for the one.
say, okay, G-Man.
Comical.
G-Man, you believe that you're right about this. Okay, I accept that. Like that's how you get away with that. There you go.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Basically, have to
he's
before you even start. That's
there's a good chance he wouldn't notice.
Yeah,
but he doesn't actually pay attention to a lot of the qualifiers that are in sentences. Like, because we were fucking with him, and I think JD actually said in one of our last streams that you could just call G-Man just big old cunt face, and like he's not actually paying attention. Like he's within earshot, but he's not actually paying attention. So you can say a lot of stuff and he won't catch it.
You sure he wasn't just distracted by the white woman?
Well, he was talking to Hannah, so but it's still.
Yeah,
still.
no, because that's exactly it. 'Cause I've heard
distracted by the Bosnian.
Yes.
Yeah, quite distracted.
By the way,
Except
Drag,
for-
I'm going to be totally ripping you off soon. I'm doing a Pew Tries Bosnian Snacks stream soon.
Oh, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm all out of snacks.
There we go.
Oh,
Yesterday's should be online public now. Sorry about the fuck up with that.
You've got to say another thing
And
about
let me check to see what my live stream defaults are to make sure it's not automatically setting them.
Shit. Let me see.
Oh, the stream that caused Kevin to be removed from moderator.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
on the naughty step now. I'm being punished.
Kevin's
this
public enemy numero uno.
Make unlisted after complete was still checked. I will fix that as soon as I'm able. I don't think I can during a live stream though.
Yeah, this one was good. Yeah, it's good.
For the lugs, for the lugs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop streaming to change it. I'll make a point of doing that after the show's over, and I'll have to make this one public after. Sorry about that. I didn't realize
By
I
the
still
way-
had that setting on.
13. I didn't use any ad hominems this time.
I just spotted something. So earlier on, I read out something Steve said because I replied under his rum and coke thing. Because
Is it gone?
it's turned into a long thing. But anyway, so I explained. I said to him, "You created the G Plus group in 2016. So how can everyone have been on board for years when it hasn't in 2 years yet? By your own words, you took something without a consensus from the existing community and appropriated it for your group." Then I quoted him, until a group started to undermine what we're trying to achieve. I said, "Not true. Some people got fed up with some aspects of your character and tried to combine their ideas so they could approach you. You have turned it into some kind of conspiracy that only exists in your mind." Then 2, stop trying to turn it into... Stop trying to turn you into we. This isn't about other people. It's about you and your attitude. Then then I quoted him again. "I'm sorry, you don't see the good I've been trying to do." I said, "Don't strawman me, Steve. I'm not talking about anything that you're doing with the G Plus group or Hangouts. I'm only talking about your attitude and your appropriation of the Great Debate community that existed before you came along." Then it's, "I wish them well," he said. I said, "Right, that's why you've got 2 hours of ranting about them in this hangout, reopening a topic that people have moved on from. I accused you of this with Hillary Pugh thing over a year ago, and it's appropriate again. Your bitterness is demonstrating trends seen in the likes of Ronnie." He's replied to that since. "I've created nothing in my mind, and I'm sorry you feel this way." Because it's my fault, apparently. I hope that I had hoped, I think that okay. I had hoped that Jade, the Geek Room, and others who know I've not created anything would be enough to convince others that I only related the most absolute facts. Well, wait a minute. He's making conclusions about Drag and Sam. What Drag and Sam are trying to do and what they believe and what they know to be true, without being them to know it's what they believe.
I love how he says several times, like, "I didn't create anything in my mind" in that comment.
Yeah.
I listened to that entire 2-hour clusterfuck last night and heard him say several times, "I started this, I built this shit from square one, I created the GDC." Either he said it directly or one of his fanboys in the room said it and he agreed with it.
Yeah.
Steve, were you either blackout drunk and you don't remember that, or do you really think we're that stupid?
That was my theory, though, was that he blacked out because he's been saying shit like, "Well, Sam's bringing up drama," and it's like, no, I didn't get obliterated drunk. Which, by the way, at his, what is he, 40, 45? Good job, man. That totally shows me you have your life together.
I don't even do that anymore.
So he still continues. They said, "I don't know what's changed here with you. Nothing's changed here with me. I've always been of this opinion."
What changed is that he didn't realize that you were going to publicly chastise him.
Yeah,
there's a subtext there that if it seems odd, that's more than likely what's going on, because he has no problem attributing things to people that he thinks are, I guess, in his circle or I guess in the periphery. If he's pointing out someone's, I guess, difference of opinion, or he's pointing out that a difference in behavior, it's that, well, you're no longer in favor with me and whatever my vision is. And you can see that with every single person that he talks to and uses lines such as that. And it's kind of shocking.
I mean, you know, the whole thing I mentioned with the Ronnie, you know, thing, you know, the trend, you know, that's exactly the same. I haven't changed my opinion on that. I just put it away. I said, let's put that aside, you know, and not worry about it anymore, kind of thing. I effectively buried it for a while, and it's just resurfaced. Anyway, so I don't know what's changed here with you, but feel free to do what you think you need to do if you wish to go on this attack with me.
God damn.
I will continue to just produce content people seem to want to watch and promote the GDC. Which GDC? His group or the
obviously
the
his
greater
group.
community? You know,
Yeah,
and
his
build
group.
something great as if it wasn't already great enough. You know, it wasn't okay as it was. You know, if you wish to part ways, I wish you the best, and I have no ill will towards you. Take care if that's the case. Really? That's considering what he's replied to me.
Did you say anything about leaving at any point in time?
No, I'm only criticizing a single point, really. Well, actually, no, it's 2 points. It's an attitude problem, and this hijacking of a name that already existed. I mean, effectively, it's something that I've been sitting on for a while, and it's like, right, look, everybody else is going on about it. I'm gonna voice it as well. And this thing about, I'm taking this thing and I'm making it better. Well, who gives him the right to go and take?
Let me reiterate. Steve is making the great debate great again.
There's so many parallels here. It's just hard to.
I don't want to bring them up, but yeah, I kept in my brain last night. As I was watching his rum and coke shit, I just kept thinking Trump, Trump, Trump. Little voice in my head just saying Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
So are we going to say, you know, his acolytes are now, you know, McCrapers?
McCrapers. That's funny. That's like, it sounds like crepes, but McCrapers. McCrapes? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I think it does stand to say that you didn't mention anything about leaving. Like, you expressed a view about something because it was a topic. And so he was the one that felt the need to say, well, if you need to leave, just go ahead and leave. But yet he welcomes dissent. He welcomes criticism. And I find it hard to believe, given just how he's responding to you and actually quite a few people that I've been getting screenshots from over the last probably week. And so he doesn't surround himself with people who are going to challenge him. Instead, when people are asking him to validate some of the things that he's saying and he feels the need to affirm it, he will direct you to people he feels are his confidants and that will simply agree with what he's already said. So you can't both have people in an inner circle who are confidants who are simply going to agree to everything that you've already said, but then claim that you don't have an echo chamber. Like, you can't hold both of those positions at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, the only, when I chatted with him and Jade, and I'm struggling to remember exactly what was said now, but you know, my position didn't really change. The only things that changed is how much I could actually justify with the evidence that was available. That was the real difference. You know, that Jade was trying to convince me that I wasn't correct in an assumption that, or not an assumption, a conclusion that I had reached. And, you know, I had to agree that, yeah, okay, you know, there's enough wiggle room to accept that I may be wrong about that.
Well, sure, and you should always
But
accept.
That was me agreeing with him somehow.
Hang on a second. In the description, there is a link to join here. This is a corporate hangout, which means when you click on it, it will not show the current participants, and a little doorbell will ring here, and I will have to say yes, so you can come in.
Hey 13, can you drop the link in the chat?
Yeah, give me a second. I'll do that.
It would behoove people to look at when Steve actually says something, especially when he's characterizing, or I should say mischaracterizing people. Go to that person and ask them what's going on and to get their position. And that if Steve is saying that he knows X is happening, or it's not a conspiracy. It's just, we'll call it Steve's special conception of reality. So when he puts forth such a thing, ask him for the evidence. If he has to direct you to a confidant, that should tell you that he's not a skeptic. That should tell you that he's not objective, and he's not trying to foster an environment of objectivity and impartiality. He's trying to gain followers and sycophants. That's the actions of someone who simply wants people around him that agree with every fucking thing that he says. And that's why I was one of his biggest supporters. I helped him make the shit. But now, he's just started fabricating shit against me. So no, I'm not going to stand here and just pretend like he's not full of shit.
I
gathering
was
allies against other people.
I was, even after Jackie and I both had misgivings about him hijacking the name and doing other shit, I was still generally on board with him. I still think the group is a good thing. I think it's a nice thing to have, just to have a place to post stuff and get exposure and discussion. I just don't like how it's being run. And I even defended him against criticism from 13 and Jordy to a certain point, although I still agreed with some of it. But at this point, no, fuck him.
The moment I heard that he said he ran the Great Debate Community, I went on a big tirade on Skype. I got real triggered. I most definitely got triggered.
Also, Epi! Max.
Hey.
What's up?
You
Holy
glorious
shit.
Welcome
bastard.
back.
Well, it's
Holy
good
fuck.
that the Great One has returned. I'm just kidding. I don't believe in my.
Wait, who do you think it was?
What's that
Steve
motherfucker?
McRae? Your ego got out of hand.
Well, you know what? On Steve McCrae, I have a debate coming up next week on his channel. So up until that point, I'm gonna stay neutral. Maybe my attitude about Steve will change.
Epi, you stop being neutral the second you set foot in here.
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
That's true.
but now that you're in here, that's probably going to be canceled.
There is no neutrality.
Pew, you're next. You're on the chopping block.
Now that you're
next, my
associated
friend.
with Kevin,
Haven't
Newman-
you
oh my
heard
God,
our
keep
current
going.
president has killed net neutrality? You're done with it. Oh wait, that's a different thing. Never mind.
I mean, doesn't net neutrality
No.
only take the internet back to what it was in 2015?
Oh God, let's not go into that.
Don't
It
do
was
that.
a joke.
That's a
Let's
rabbit
not
hole.
make this a thing.
That's a rabbit hole.
I just
We'll get to the politics. We'll have a shuffle where we duke it out about politics at some point. But my brain is not in that mode tonight.
Well,
Yeah,
but when we do
tonight-
have that
Tonight,
Shuffle,
I'd like
when
to
we do
ask
have
you to
that-
keep your rabbit out of my hole.
when we do have that that shuffle politics thing, if somebody has to get booted from the hangout, we have to refer to it as kicking them off the helicopter.
No, we
Oh,
refer to it as an
yeah.
airlock. It's an
Yeah.
airlock. I write
It's the-
sci-fi.
no,
It's a
it's the-
fucking airlock.
It's the airlock. No,
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's the
during
airlock, but
during the
Guys, do you think it's an airlock, or I couldn't tell?
Well, during the regular shuffles, when shuffles were running all the fucking time back in 2014, Prudent was one of the first people I kicked out of the airlock. I think he was the first person I ever kicked out of a hangout. Fuck.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed
So-
doing it.
It became a tradition. Not just kicking Prudent out, but also that. But we called it, boot the person out of the airlock. Sometimes when we needed space, we would even roll a D10.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And 13 would.
Yep.
Did someone do that,
Why?
or did he actually leave?
He must have
Oh.
left because I sure as hell didn't kick anyone.
Okay.
Oh,
I
that's
hope I didn't
funny
push him
though.
off. He might be
Did
back.
someone snipe him?
No,
No,
the-
this is an unsnipeable
No.
hangout.
No, this is
That was the joke.
corporate
That was the
hangouts
joke.
cannot be sniped, but at the same point, you also can't give mods. So I didn't fucking do it, so it wasn't done.
So when we
Alright.
when we did the D10 thing, 13 would usually just kick the motherfucker that he wanted to anyway.
Oh yeah, I'd
Or,
be like, I'm gonna
Festa,
roll a
or
die,
Festa.
and I'd roll
We
the
did-
die so it was
Festa.
right next to
Festa.
the fucking microphone, and then kick the person that was annoying me.
or Festa. We did that to Festa a few times.
The true elephant in the room.
Actually, Festa was the first person that I kicked for the whole elephant gag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's why I said
come
it's
on.
the true elephant in the room.
Speaking of people that get drunk in hangouts and be a complete
Oh
dickwad.
yeah.
Man,
Wait, I remember that hangout.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, you got a cat on your lap. Oh.
Yeah,
no.
I had
Let me show.
go hug sweets. Hug sweets.
Who's that? This cat is kind of
That's a
total
Jackie
lap
and
cat
the
these
sweets.
days. She's in love with Jackie. You do cutie pie.
She better be, or he better be.
Oh,
The Sweet's a boy or a
Sweets.
girl? I keep on forgetting.
It's a girl.
A
Sweet is a girl.
There you go. Of course, it
You
better
got
be.
blue hair, Jackie.
So,
What?
Yeah, I have blue
I
hair.
love.
so
blue
Jackie, do you
hair.
ever feel threatened by the other woman in Kevin's life?
oh.
No, I feel threatened by that.
Yeah, because she loves me more than him.
Hey, Prudent.
Are you suggesting that when she's got the cat on her lap, you're not getting any pussy?
Hang on a second, Char.
Thanks,
You
Cliff.
can. What your
Trust
Char?
Cliff to
Wait,
make a
wait, wait,
fucking
wait, wait.
pussy joke.
Important business. Important business. Char. Links in the description. Feel free to come in if you want, or just ask us on Kagito. Fuck. Come on in.
Oh my God, Char. Oh my God, Char.
Sure,
Holy
I've
shit.
invited you. I've sent you invites to the Kagito Discord a couple times now, and I know you're
Holy
on
fuck.
Discord. Like,
The hangout is full.
Yeah, you're just
I need to go to bed.
no,
I'm
this
done.
hangout has a max of 20 people.
Yeah. Well, actually,
It's
sorry.
a
It's
club
25.
Char.
25.
25.
I missed you, Char. I don't know where I've been. Where have I been? Kevin, where have I been?
Well, I haven't even talked to you that much, but you've been in our off air sometimes.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I
Question's
think
where
you've been in
Char's
Canada.
been.
I think
She's
you've been in
been
Canada.
gaming.
I know it's nowhere
I've been
really,
gaming.
but
13, did you pop the link in the
I
chat?
can do it again if you want. Give me a
I don't
second.
think you did the first time, because it's still not letting me do it.
Actually, it said that there was an error. I don't know. Let me try one more time.
Oh, that's nice. It
Yeah,
used
it
to let
says
me
there's
do-
an
I can
error.
I can put other URLs in, but fuck you, Google. It's in the video description.
Yeah, it's
Like,
in the description.
there
Let me
you go.
try stopping it at this and see if it'll take it.
the problem is people like it's hard for people who are on mobile
Yeah.
because you can't add. There's no external chat. You can't add them that way.
I don't know if that version will work.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
That version
Yeah,
may
we
or may
missed you.
not work. I don't know, but yeah, it's in the description. You should be able to find the link there. It's a thing. It'll just ring the doorbell. It won't show you the participants, but I just have to click yes, and you can come in.
can I just publicly mention that Max is really gracious loser?
About what?
How so?
Oh, the Super Bowl, right? God.
Yeah, the Super Bowl.
Oh.
My team won. His team lost. We were joking a bit about it beforehand.
Are you one of those
when the
Patriot
result
fucks?
came through, he was like, "Yeah, congratulations! They won. That was cool."
It was a good game. I really enjoyed watching it. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I'm really happy to see it. Even if my team didn't come out on top, I enjoyed the ride while it lasted.
Oh,
Yeah.
sports ball. That's my cue to go to bed. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, Jackie.
Bye bye. We don't need to go into the details of the game, but it was a good, gracious reply. Some people are dicks when it comes to winning and losing.
That's part of the fun, my guys.
Is that actually Tyler? Is that in Tyler Durden? Is that
Yeah,
Tyler Durden?
Tyler Duck. This isn't even my final one. Yeah.
Personally,
Okay.
Personally, the reason I'm a Patriots fan is in part because everyone hates them so much, so I just live for the butthurt, and that's the great part about being a Patriots fan.
Oh,
Where
well,
I can respect
yay!
them,
It
and I
worked.
can just chill. My team loses, so I'm not too mad.
My reason for liking the Philadelphia Eagles goes back to the 80s when me and my dad would watch the game and we never really did anything else together. And then what happened was, it's like, okay, so watch the game. And there were two teams playing, and I can't even remember what the other one was. But when it came down to it, the Eagles were
Okay.
the Eagles,
Sam.
and they had a prettier uniform. And the
Sports
whole
ball.
Eagles, America, that kind of, symbolic idea.
Sports ball.
Okay,
That's what-
wait. Let me cut in here for a second. I have to say something. Tail switch. Hi, Char.
Hi.
How to speak
missed-
to secret
I missed
squirrel
you.
I haven't
code.
heard him forever.
Hey, Shark.
That's how much I missed.
Haven't seen you in forever, Jordy.
I know. Holy
I
fuck!
haven't seen him in quite a while, or because
I realized
he's
things
not
today.
recently, but I probably talked to him more than you have. He's been under the radar.
Mm.
I've been
I haven't
hiding.
seen- to be honest, I haven't seen you around either, Shah. I mean,
Eh,
Was it been a year and a half?
No, I've been watching and stuff, but I'm just not that interested in joining Hangouts anymore. So
Isn't it like super fair though?
Char just came in.
Because that's like my opinion too. I was like, I didn't really like want to like join Hangouts.
Sports ball, nay. Char, yay.
That's brutal. Nice.
Char's the shit though. So
Put it out.
You know, I'm always fascinated on how Jackie's voice can go up 14 octaves, but not actually go to dog whistle.
Come here, Jackie.
how do you know? Can you hear dog whistle?
Come here,
I can.
Jackie.
He
Come
has
here.
been revealed to him in such a way that he can
This is Jackie's teddy bear. Jackie loves this
Hey,
animal.
stop petting my pussy.
Stop petting your pussy. That's my pussy. It's mine. This was
Oh,
mine.
the saccharine of it all. The saccharine of it all.
Mine.
Give me the pussy. My pussy.
No, I want to pet your
Say
pussy. Hi.
Ow.
Hello, Jackie.
Claws. Ow.
Okay, y'all stop being cute for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's too sweet.
Actually, I'm going to probably see about winding down in a couple minutes because we've been running well over 2 hours at this point, and I want this to be at a vaguely watchable length considering we went over that brass tack shit at the beginning. And I'm starting to slur, so I figure it's definitely time. So for those of you who did watch, thank you for joining us. Char, thanks for coming in, and
Love
you
you
fucking
all.
stay here, and we're gonna grill you. That's what you've been up to for the last
love you
hour
all.
fucking long.
I don't
We
love
love
you,
you
Steve,
all.
but I love everyone else.
We love you all, fuckers. Fuck you, Steve.
I don't like Steve, and I don't like